It's not at all unusual. In fact, it's often quite lovely when new parents coo that their baby is the cutest and cleverest one ever born. But are little kids' brains big enough to make the biggest decisions, like whether they're a boy or a girl? Well, yes, according to a growing group of mums and dads who are embracing what's known as gender-creative parenting. They're deliberately keeping the sex of their children top secret because they say the kids themselves should be free to decide who they are. And that means they're being raised not as baby boys or baby girls, but as Theybys.
I don't even know if that was here yet.
On the banks of Sydney's Georges River, two families have put on a big spread to celebrate some big news. Sarah and her partner Jordan are 15 weeks pregnant, and they're about to find out whether they're having a boy or a girl.
I just want it to be a girl because I want it to be like a mini Sarah. I'm team girl, but I hope it's a boy, so when he grows up, he'll look after his mum.
It'd be nice to have a little girl.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's blue for a boy, and now Mum and Dad can start making plans.
Take them to footy, go fishing with them, you know, all the boy stuff. Take them on motorbikes, the type of stuff, yeah.
And then you, Sarah? The father can do it. It's a boy thing.
Boy things, girl things, touchdowns or tutus. We're all split into two different teams from very early on. But what if no one knew the sex of the baby even after they are born? That's the philosophy behind the radical movement of gender-creative parenting, where these kids' sex is none of your business. Their parents are throwing away the gender rulebook to let the child choose in their own time whether they're a boy or a girl. Meet Bertie. Bertie likes the colour purple, fire engines and Elsa from Frozen. Finish this sentence for me. Bertie is a
child. Bertie's a child.
A gorgeous little kid.
Amy and Danny are parents to 9-year-old Evie, a girl, and 3.5-year-old Bertie. We don't know if Bertie is a he or a she, or anything else for that matter. Bertie is a Theyby, because when Amy was pregnant, she and Danny made a controversial decision. So why did you decide to let a child choose their own gender?
The experience of having raised Evie and what we saw happen to Evie and the assumptions that were put on Evie as a girl were things that we weren't that comfortable with.
I said to Danny, are we going to tell people the sex of Bertie or the baby that we haven't yet had? And Danny was, quite unequivocal.
Yes, I said no. I said let's just not tell people.
Which was a bit of a shock because it was just a few days before I was giving birth.
How hard was it to keep it a secret?
Not as hard as we thought it would be, and there was a case of that we thought, people would find out very quickly because we'd have the relentless questioning about it. But after a while, people stop asking, and then they start to make the assumptions one way or the other.
Most of us are born with clearly female or male sex organs. Gender is what we've built on top of that, the colours boys and girls wear, things they like, and the way they behave and relate to each other. Those are the rules an increasing number of parents want to break. And they say it's much easier to do that when no one knows the sex of your child. In a pink and blue world, Bertie has access to all the colours of the rainbow, the full spectrum of clothes, toys and activities. When I first saw Bertie, my first impression was, oh, that's a little girl.
We do get that a lot at the moment because Bertie is constantly in the Elsa outfit with the Elsa plait. In our family home, we make sure that we're not reinforcing gender pronouns or gender terms. We just let Bertie be who Bertie is at the moment. And yes, now they're outside into the world, we can't necessarily manage people putting that assumption onto them. But Bertie's happy enough being Bertie, and we support them to be who they are.
But what if being who they are is just so different to other kids? So is it confusing then for a toddler not to have those markers or not to be able to identify themselves in a society where so much is gender-based?
I don't think Bertie is confused at all. And I think what we're trying to do is not limit Bertie. So as Bertie gravitates towards anything, we're trying not to say, no, you can't do that, but to go, okay, sure, go and explore that thing.
It might sound extreme, but it's happening all around the world.
We're not trying to eliminate gender. We're actually trying to show how limitless gender can be, right? And just really helping kids find their own path to it and follow their lead so that they feel comfortable and authentic.
In America, someone who knows how it's done is gender creative parenting guru and social scientist Dr. Kyle Myers. 7 years ago, Kyle and her Australian husband Brent had their first baby, Zuma.
We didn't assign a gender at birth, and we didn't disclose Zuma's reproductive anatomy to people who didn't need to know. The reproductive anatomy that my kiddo was born with, I didn't want to assign too many labels and assumptions and, destinies on top of that. You can't tell what your gender is by looking at your body. Gender is something you feel on the inside.
Kyle has become the poster person for this unconventional parenting style, writing a best-selling book about her own experience. So you believe that if you're born with a penis, doesn't necessarily make you a boy?
Right. Because so a lot of people who are born with penises identify as a boy, and a lot of people who are born with vulvas identify as a girl. A big part of that is because they're assigned the boy and girl labels, right, and are socialized as such.
Isn't that confusing for a little child?
I think it's actually more confusing to make children think that the 8 billion people on the planet all neatly fit into one of two boxes.
So here, Bertie is how old?
Probably about 9 months, I reckon.
And that's been their one, their newborn picture.
In Australia, Danny and Amy have followed the same path. Scroll through their family photos and you can see that sometimes Bertie looks like a girl and sometimes Bertie looks like a boy. So short hair and then longer hair?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between fighting gender stereotypes to not telling a small child their gender, letting them choose. Seems a little extreme.
I don't know, but I don't understand why it feels so extreme. As we interact with adults, we don't constantly go, oh, good girl, Amelia, good girl, you did a really good job on that interview. We just say, good job, Amelia. So we're just kind of saying, we're just shifting and holding back from constantly saying a reminder about gender to say that's how you need to perform.
Not big field.
No.
In this complicated new world, the children are in charge of their own gender reveal. As it turns out, one day Zuma came home from preschool and announced he was a boy.
So it was right around Zuma's 4th birthday that he said, I love he, him pronouns. And, I was like, that's fantastic.
And there's no doubt he's a self-assured, happy little boy. Spending time with these families, it's clear there's a lot of love and only good intentions in the way they're raising their children. But what happens when these Theybys leave their bubble and go out into the real world?
What they're doing really is unprecedented. There have been really no societies that have tried to have gender-free rearing.
Some people say what you're doing is child abuse. So when are you due, Kyle?
March 25th.
Exciting. Yeah. And are you starting from scratch? Do you need a fair bit today?
We need all of it.
Yeah. On a chilly winter's day in Portland, Oregon, Dr. Kyle Myers is on the hunt for gender-neutral baby clothes. The social scientist managed to keep the sex of her first child, Zuma, a secret for 4 years, until he was ready to choose his own gender. And she's about to do it all over again.
So would you put a baby or a toddler in something like this, regardless of gender?
For sure. Like, we had dresses for Zoomer. We will have dresses for this second kiddo. What we're really mindful of is how dresses can actually impact mobile development, though. So, like, if a child is always in dresses, then they can struggle to learn to crawl as efficiently, or climb a tree, or run. And so I think every kid should have access to dresses so that they can feel the magic of the twirl if they so choose.
In this famously liberal American city, there's plenty of support for this style of parenting. But outside their happy family bubble, there's still a huge amount of judgment, criticism, and outright hatred.
Some people say what you're doing is child abuse.
We're not, you know, but we're Zoomer has grown up in an environment where he has access to explore his interests without shame, without force, right? He can gravitate towards anything that intrigues him to wear, to play with, to dream up as, you know, like a career he might want to have someday. And we say, that's awesome, instead of saying, you can't do that because your body, because of your gender, right?
I think that's healthy, that's positive. But there's a fine line perhaps between how far this is taken and what happens. How does a child orientate themselves in a world where they are told, no, you're gender neutral, it's up to you whether you're a boy or a girl. There's a very different discussion if a child comes to their parents and at some point in their life says, well, actually, I'm questioning this, and maybe I am a they, them. That's driven by the child.
Psychotherapist Mark Varmeyer runs a practice in the UK city of Brighton, home to the country's highest number of non-binary people. He works with families trying gender-neutral parenting on for size, but says for some kids, it just isn't a good fit.
Certainly from the work that I've done and the parents I've worked with and the feedback I've had, I don't think there is necessarily enough evidence yet of, across a broader spectrum of children with different temperaments, what happens, what's this like? You know, what's this like for the child? How do they feel?
Those long-term impacts.
Yeah, arguably the long-term impacts, indeed.
We do live in a world that's very gendered. Is it fair to make children feel different?
By raising a child perhaps in this way where they're not assigned a gender at all, by definition they are different, by definition they are standing out. No matter how we look at it, it does create that sense of difference, and it is ultimately still an experiment.
I think that is so funny because parenting is like the ultimate experiment, right? Like, we're all experimenting every single day. We're figuring out, how do we keep this kiddo alive? You know, what works for our family, what works for this kid.
Back in Australia, Amy and Danny are also well accustomed to defending their unusual choice. They're raising Bertie as a they. The bubbly 3.5-year-old has gone through various fads from fire trucks to Frozen and is yet to express what gender they'd like to be.
There are people who say you're just trying to push your own political views onto your children.
No,
exactly.
It's generally trying to step back and saying, I'm letting this little person be who they want to be.
Why do you think this style of parenting does cause so much anger and outrage?
People don't know what it's like to be parenting our child. We know that there are many stories of parents who have decided to make their children conform when they don't conform. We've heard of parents who want their child to be a footballer, so stop them going to dance, who loves playing with dolls but has to do that in secret. We're not going to start saying that's not how you should behave.
Despite the doubters, these families have some perhaps unexpected allies in the hallowed halls of science.
I think it's a fascinating experiment. I think certainly gender creative parenting in the sense of not labeling your child, not having expectations about, what they're going to be interested in, what they're going to be good at. I totally get that motivation, but it's just a very, very hard thing to do.
Renowned neuroscientist Professor Lise Elliott has been studying the human brain and gender development here at the Rosalind Franklin University of Medicine in Chicago for more than 30 years. Her work has found very little difference between male and female brains at birth and in early infancy.
There is this belief, and it really is just a belief at this time, that because there are decisive psychological differences, differences in empathy, differences in aggression and verbal skills, that at some level, we've got to be able to find these differences in the brain. There's got to be something about the function of the brain. And the way I think of it is more like it's more of a software difference than a hardware difference. It's what sorts of routines are they running? And a lot of that, frankly, is learned.
I don't have enough tools to sort through here.
Here in Dr. Elliott's lab, medical students learn how our brain wiring then changes depending on what we do with it, especially in the first 10 years of childhood. So if our brains are actually very similar, then, society has a lot to answer for.
Well, yes and no. We are biologically different. The actual psychological differences between men and women and boys and girls are really quite small. There is so much more overlap in all of our traits and behaviors and strengths than there is difference. And yet, what putting these gender labels does on an early age is it widens the gap. It drives boys and girls apart.
Knowing this is one thing, but experimenting with it outside a lab is another thing altogether.
I think it is potentially confusing for the child. It's confusing potentially for other children.
Could their parents be setting them up for bullying and exclusion?
I think that's very possible.
It's something that Amy and Danny, who are getting ready to send almost 4-year-old Bertie off to preschool soon, are all too aware of. You can control the variables when they're in the home as a baby, as a toddler.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for Bertie going out into school, into the world, where a lot of the markers are gender-based?
We're not hiding the fact from Bertie that they have an anatomy and that their anatomy is similar and different to their family members.
They're well aware of their body parts.
Yeah, exactly.
The body parts, and they know how to name their body parts. They also know how to, they were in the world, so they are constantly seeing what's going on. So it's not as if we've kind of kept them away from anything. They are exposed to everything.
And being exposed to everything means Bertie is already putting a toe in the water. For the Saturday morning swim class, Bertie is just one of the gang.
Bertie is exactly who Bertie wants to be each week, and that's allowed to be whoever they want to be.
Halfway around the world, there are no signs yet that growing up as a Theyby did 7-year-old Zuma any harm. And Kyle and Brent are excited to be doing it all again.
The things that I think about have very little to do with gender. I'm thinking more of how are we gonna navigate sleeplessness?
Back into the trenches.
Yes, we're going back into the trenches.
And the trenches don't seem so bad. With the arrival of baby Neon last week. Amy and Danny have no regrets either, yet. But even they admit, only time will tell. Would you do it again, or is it too soon to say?
Well, we're not having any more children. But absolutely. I'd do it again. I don't...
Absolutely, for sure.
I can't see that there's been any drawbacks at all. We just hope that we're doing the best things for our kids.
And hope they grow up to be good humans.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yes, that come with kindness and respect.
Yeah.
If they are, then we've done our job well.
Yeah.
The number of Australian children who don't ever enrol in mainstream education, or do attend but then leave, has doubled in the last 5 years. It means currently more than 48,000 kids don't sit in a traditional classroom. Instead, they're embracing a different kind of learning. It's most commonly known as homeschooling, but now terms like unschooling, or if you've got enough money, world schooling, are also being added to the vocabulary. Bullying and school refusal are some of the reasons for the increase in numbers, but so too are parents who defiantly think they know better than the teachers. Jack and Amanda DeLosa want what's best for their daughter, and that means going about it very differently to most, especially when it comes to her education. Little Ariella will never sit an exam or even follow a curriculum.
Thank you. Oh, that's a cute shot.
Her parents reckon the 2.5-year-old will learn everything she ever needs from jet setting.
You too are.
What we're doing with Ariella, and it's been a conscious decision, you're not allowed to fly with a kid until they're 6 weeks of age. And so Ariella has been flying since 6 weeks of age.
Who's in Los Angeles?
Amanda's an influencer, while Jack's an entrepreneur. They're quite the high flyers already, and together have adopted the term world schooling for their girl.
This concept of world schooling is something that we see as being very valuable for her because of how much we move around. More time to actually do more of their sort of creative sort of activities, things that they're naturally going to lean towards for their development, as opposed to just sticking in a box with the curriculum side of things. I mean, she's already done 8 countries in 2.5 years since she was born.
8 countries
Yes.
already?
She's been on 150 flights. She's incredibly well travelled. That's normal for her now. She travels better than we do.
Jack and Amanda don't think too highly of a more mainstream education. And, as you might have already guessed, they're relishing the chance to tell you why.
Will she ever set foot in a school or a classroom?
She won't go to school, no.
That's a big call at 2.5 years.
Well, the way I see it is, Ariella was born in 2023. If she followed the traditional path, she'd graduate university in 2045. School and university isn't teaching what's relevant in 2025, much less 2045.
But don't for a moment think it's just wealthy, radical thinkers like the DeLosas shunning school.
She's getting the wood.
Sandy Whiteman, like many, couldn't possibly afford world schooling. So for her kids, 11-year-old Zarina and 8-year-old Isaac, there's unschooling.
I just ask them what they want to do daily, and we just follow their interest.
It's up to them what they do.
It's up to them. It's totally up to them. I ask what they want to do today.
What if they say they just want to sit on the couch and watch TV?
They get to sit on the couch.
Really?
I don't mind. And that way they're still learning how to look after themselves, how to look after their own needs.
There you go.
Unschooling and world schooling might seem a bit out there, but they're versions of what you've definitely heard of, homeschooling. It's something more and more Australian families are experimenting with, because many, like Sandy, feel they have no choice. Both her kids, Isaac and Zarina, who live with autism, struggled with their school's rigid structure. Zarina was also bullied. And that's where unschoolings come in, to repair the damage.
I switched straight away to unschooling. You don't replicate school at home at all, especially when your kids are suffering, they have a mental load. They've been through a lot, bullyingness and anxiety, and that's when you need to take all the pressure away.
What are schools getting so wrong that parents are turning their back on them?
I don't think it's that schools are necessarily getting things wrong. I think it's that families in Australia have changed what they want for their young people to experience in education.
Dr. Rebecca English knows you can't just write schools off completely. She's a lecturer in education at the Queensland University of Technology and says there are plenty of school options for families struggling with a textbook education.
There are more Montessori schools. There are Steiner schools. There are special assistance schools that cater to the school-refusing population. There are democratic schools, which also cater heavily to neurodivergent and school-refusing young people. So there are lots of different options, and many of them are free. The fact that most students go to school says that schools are doing lots of things right.
You start, Isaac, so that I can watch you.
Having said that, Dr. English considers homeschooling a godsend for many parents, and certainly not something to be scoffed at.
Homeschooling has experienced by far the biggest growth of any education choice in Australia, and sometimes a short period in homeschooling is just what that child needs. Get over the anxiety, move on, be ready to try something different.
So could they do that? They could step away from ordinary school, be homeschooled for a bit, and you do think that wouldn't put them back if they decide to then go back into a traditional school?
The research shows that homeschoolers don't tend to stay in it the whole 12 years of homeschooling. Some do, but most of them just try it for a couple of years and then they'll often go back to school.
That's not a jarring experience for those kids going back?
Not if the child has decided that this is what they wish to do, no.
But don't expect young Ariella DeLosa to ever join her peers in a classroom. Her parents, Jack and Amanda, think so little of traditional education, they're not even prepared to give an actual school a go.
The traditional education system was set up and designed in the 1800s, and it was designed to produce factory workers. But if you fast forward 200 years, the school environment simulates an environment that is almost the opposite to the real world. We want you to sit down and not talk to the person next to you and wait to be told what to do. Well, in the real world, if you sit down, you don't talk to the person next to you and you wait to be told what to do, you're unemployable at best.
Like it or not, the DeLosas believe their own success means they know what it'll take for their daughter to get ahead. School, they say, would do her more harm than good.
It's not just a waste of time. It's worse than that. It's preparing students for a world that no longer exists. And so we're setting them back before they even start. That should frustrate all of us.
Teachers, educators, principals, they might take offence to some of the suggestions. They do their best, don't they, to evolve and teach in different ways?
We speak to a lot of teachers. A lot of former teachers have actually left the education system because of a lot of the issues that we raise.
My problem isn't with the teachers or the principals. My problem is with the system that they operate within.
I separate families who choose homeschooling into two groups. I think there are the deliberates, which is this family. They are never going to choose a school, so it's a waste of breath trying to get them to go. The really interesting part, and where all the growth we've experienced in Australia has been in this group that I call accidentals.
In other words, not outspoken parents like the DeLosas, but those whose kids are battling with schools so much, homeschooling's become a necessary last resort. So, how might their kids turn out? Coming up, the family who can answer that question.
Show of hands if you had the time over. Who's doing homeschooling exactly the same way again?
Hey, I'm pretty sure there's like a big termite nest.
Oh yeah, that's the termite.
Homeschooling for Sandy Whiteman and her two kids might not be what you expect. After all, it's often not at home.
This is a very different classroom to the one I remember. Sandy?
This is our classroom. Yeah, we don't sit on the desk. We don't have any bookwork routine, unless my kids really want to.
Serena and Isaac, who live with autism, are being what's called unschooled. They were unhappy at regular school, so now they get to learn by doing whatever they want to do. And 1 or 2 times a week, that's going for a bushwalk.
As you can see, my kids are happy and they're not getting stressed out or anxious and what's going to happen.
It's lovely that they're happy, of course, but
Yeah.
I guess the question is, what are you learning out here bringing your kids out?
We are learning about the nature, Australian wildlife, Australians' native plant, and then when they go home, they can actually open their own books by themselves. I don't tell them to write down. It's just their curiosity makes them to do it. It's like, oh, we went there. What was that bird?
Lots of our children would be at school if they could be at school, but what they're experiencing at school is causing them quite significant distress and often chronic stress.
Tiffany Westfall runs School Can't Australia. a volunteer support group for parents looking for advice on how to homeschool. It's become so much more common, the service can't keep up. In fact, around 3,000 families are on a wait list to join.
When a child becomes so unwell that they can't go to school, sometimes we're looking at a child who is curled up in the fetal position in bed in a darkened room, unable to leave the house. When we have children who are in stressed states beyond what they have capacity to cope with, then we are breaking them. We're not building resilience.
What changes have you seen in your son and daughter since they've been at home?
At home, learning from home, doing unschooling, I have seen a huge progress in their confidence. Their love for learning, actually. Before, they didn't want to learn, they didn't want to go to school, they didn't want to interact with anybody.
It's quite the indictment on regular schooling. Remarkably though, Vivian Fox is someone who's even more scathing.
And we had lots of art days together. We did do a lot of art with
The mother of 5 decided very early none of her children would ever attend school.
I've been a teacher for years and years, but I was a teacher in school. Not for a particularly long amount of time, but it was enough to see the parents were paying for an education that I didn't think they were really getting.
Oh, that's a
criticism, isn't it? A teacher making that decision.
There are a lot of teachers who are homeschooling. It's not the teacher's fault. It's because the system is very rigid and it makes it very hard for teachers. Even the most experienced, most committed teachers will have trouble individualising to those children.
The Fox family considers itself a bit of a homeschooling success story. 2 of Vivian's now adult children, Jeremy and Ellie, wouldn't have had it any other way. Not that they have anything to compare it to.
What do you think the homeschooling skeptics would be surprised to learn about you?
I suppose the fact that I didn't stay in the house my whole childhood. I think homeschool's really benefited me because it's taught me ways of how I learn the best. I've always loved reading. I've loved telling stories to people. And so I found a bachelor's degree in media and communications, and I chose to major in screen practice and production.
At the moment, I'm studying a master's at ANU, and I've completed a bachelor degree by the age of 18.
And he's working for the government.
But even they can't pretend homeschooling is perfect. Jeremy, now 31, is conscious of and honest about the downsides.
We don't want to make it sound like, you don't socialise, all that kind of thing. But I think one challenge was like feeling lonely and working through that. Particularly when you come to periods of homeschooling where there are, friends branch off and I had a lot of friends who, decided to finish up at school, all that kind of thing. And there were times there where it was tricky. They wanted to, be like everyone else.
It's why families choosing to homeschool, while increasingly common, are still the vast minority. Education lecturer Dr. Rebecca English is all for it when needed, but knows how time-consuming and expensive it can be for parents.
It is not an option for everybody.
So where does that leave schools? Where do they need to improve so that people can send their kid to school and be confident that they're going to be okay?
I think schools need to look at teachers, and when teachers are happy and when they're comfortable and when there's enough of them to help in a classroom, that's when the classroom becomes a lovely environment for that young person and they feel safe and comfortable to return. And I think with the growth of all of these alternative models, we have to have a long, hard look at ourselves at what we're teaching and how we're teaching and whether what happens in mainstream school is the right way forward.
Not that they'll ever be able to convince the likes of Jack and Amanda Delosa.
Our concern with the traditional education system is that it punishes the skills that make somebody successful.
The Delosas are aware their bold ideas will generate some ridicule. They just don't care. And they're prepared, in fact, excited to debate anyone who thinks their daughter will one day belong in school.
Ariel is outgoing. School would diminish some of that. I love learning. I had to drop out of university because of my love of learning. It was too slow, it was too theoretical. My thirst for knowledge wasn't being satisfied.
To leap to school's defence a little bit, they talk about reviewing curriculums as often as they can. They bring in technology, or they move to individual focused teaching as opposed to broadly.
It's all weasel words. No, it's all weasel words. It's just box ticking exercises. It all sounds good. It's meant to reassure everyone that there is innovation and there is change and, you know, standards are being upheld. But at the end of the day, we end up back at square one.
Be it on principle or as a necessity, nothing anyone says will stop these families homeschooling. And while there's no way to know how their kids will grow up, what their parents are happy to say for sure is they know what's best for their children.
Do you have your doubts about what you're doing?
I used to, not anymore. School is amazing for some families, for some kids. For my kids, it didn't serve its purpose.
Does any part of you as parents sit here and worry 10, 15 years down the track that your daughter might turn around and go, "Oh, Mum and Dad, why didn't you just send me to school with everyone else?"
I think in Ariella's case, she's going to have a very fortunate upbringing that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to have. And so it's highly unlikely that that will occur. We're still in the hangover from a period of the 80s and 90s where if you went to school and you went to university, it almost guaranteed you a successful career that, you know, would set you up for a really healthy and happy life. That's just simply no longer the case. And the world is waking up to that. It's just waking up to it slowly.
All right, well, show of hands, if you had the time over, who's doing homeschooling exactly the same way again?
I'm good. I feel like I've got to the point where I can say, look, it worked.
When it comes to education, every parent wants the best for their child. And most of them have an opinion on how to get it, which is causing conflict in schools. More and more mums and dads want more and more say about what goes on in the classroom, and if they don't get their way, watch out. On the receiving end, teachers and principals say they're sick of the bullying, the violence, and calls for them to be sacked. As Liam Bartlett reports, they just want to get on with doing what they know best, teaching.
What other sort of food sources did they need? Memphis?
This is how we dream all classrooms should be.
3 explorers across the Blue
Well-mannered, attentive students
William Charles Wentworth.
being taught by engaged and committed teachers like Harriet O'Donnell.
Good. I get to spend my day laughing and teaching children and having that moment when something suddenly clicks and they suddenly understand what you're talking about and use that information and go and make something with it is just the most amazing thing.
Harriet's been in the job at St Andrew's Cathedral College in Sydney for 2 years.
Gregory Blaxland, good.
She's passionate about shaping young minds, but she's also lucky because so far in her career, she hasn't encountered the destroyer of good teachers, the angry and out-of-control parent.
You're going home after being abused from a parent because they didn't agree with something that you taught or the way that you taught it or that you've asked their child to do homework.
George Alerts used to be just like Harriet O'Donnell. He loved his job teaching, but no longer.
You basically become deflated and it becomes to a point where it's like, you know what, I'm trying absolutely my hardest and I'm doing it for your kids and you're abusing me or threatening me or, you know, undermining me and I'm doing everything I can so that I can teach your children the best that I can. And I can't do that anymore. I can't.
You can see it in his eyes. George has been broken. Not by students throwing tantrums in the classroom, but by their parents.
We've had parents that have fought on school grounds, which have led to the police being involved, and have parents escorted off school grounds. I've had it, unfortunately, even at the Christmas carol services that we've held at school, where parents have been swearing and fighting and really horrific language, and without a care in the world about it, without a consideration to anyone else. And that's
at a school Christmas carol.
At a school Christmas carol, yeah, it's awful.
We try and do the best for our kids, but we're not getting anywhere because they don't want to listen. That's the hardest thing. They don't want to listen. They just want to shut you out the door.
Whoever thought the classroom could be so combative? But these days, the fear many teachers feel is as real as the frustration of many parents. People like West Australian dad Kevin Saunders.
For a parent, you're going to go and speak up for your child. Like, you're not just going to let them in there and let them take over and tell you what to do. You've got every right to speak up for your child and converse with the teachers. But if they don't want to converse with you, where are you left? You're left standing there with nothing.
And they expected me to stay there.
Kevin says he was marched out of this high school by the deputy principal, all because he was critical of the way his son James was being treated.
Some of them had their hands tied too. That was the worst thing about it.
Yeah.
I told them if they couldn't do their job properly, maybe they should give it to somebody else that can do their job properly, and they didn't like that.
Parents get frustrated because their children are not getting the support. Teachers and principals are frustrated because we can't meet the needs of that child, and there's often a ripple effect.
Sheets of rain, he grabbed all the...
It's a subject Henry Grosick says can't be ignored any longer. He's been in the public education system for half a century.
Who's ever eaten a currant bun? Yeah.
The last 30 years as principal of the Berwick Lodge Primary School in Victoria. And he says parental meddling in a classroom has never been as bad.
Well, it's very stressful because you don't know where it'll end. It eats away at you over time, and it creates that bad feeling in your stomach where you just don't feel well about it.
And there's hard evidence to back up the fact that parents are becoming the real school bullies. This comprehensive report from the Australian Catholic University found that in the last year, 45%, that's almost 1 in every 2 school principals, were threatened with violence by parents. Evidence also points to an increasing number of teachers being bullied, physically, emotionally and electronically, by parents who think they know best when it comes to their children's education. Have you seen changes in parental attitudes?
Oh, absolutely. There's a greater intensity in the relationships, and parents are more anxious and less trusting of our professionalism.
A greater intensity? You mean in an aggressive way?
Yes. I mean, we've always had parents who come in a highly charged emotional state, but the numbers and the frequency and the intensity, I think, over time has risen.
Violence, that's where nobody wants to come to that. But some people get that annoyed, that's what's going to be the next step, isn't it? If nobody's going to listen to you, what's going to happen? You're going to start getting grumpy, and what happens when you get grumpy?
While stopping fights in the playground has always been part of a teacher's job description, Henry Grosick says being a parental peacekeeper has not. But nowadays, he must be extra vigilant about ensuring he and his staff's physical safety.
I've encountered on occasions personal abuse, threats of litigation. A few years ago I was in a meeting with a family, and the father was very upset about an issue, and we weren't getting very far, and I was sitting at my desk, he was standing about less than a metre away with his fists clenched. And at the end of it, when he left, he hurled some foul language in my direction and slammed the door so hard that a picture fell and the glass frame broke.
If you think bullying by parents is confined to the public education system, you're wrong. In many private schools, mums and dads are proving more trouble than their children are worth. Last year, Dr. John Collier, principal of St Andrew's Cathedral College in Sydney, lost patience with parents who, he says, seem to believe paying fees gave them the right to be insufferable.
I am having to interact with too many parents who have verbally abused, physically threatened, or shouted at a staff member.
In a school newsletter, Collier threatened to deny parents access to the school grounds if they didn't back off from what he called extravagant expectations.
If necessary, I will assert my authority under the Enclosed Lands Act to ban them from entering the premises.
The principal's words didn't miss their target.
I take it this drift is part of a general decline in civility in society and needs to be called out.
You used the term extravagant expectations. Yes, the parents have. What did you mean by that?
Sometimes parents lose the sense that schools have multiple students and regard the school as a kind of individual tutoring service. The other extravagant expectation is that parents will ring a teacher and expect to get the teacher out of class to speak to them, and I won't allow that here because I won't have the teacher taken away from the other children. Or the parent will expect the teacher to communicate on a daily basis by email. And of course, some high school teachers, depending on the subject they teach, might have 130 to 150 students, and that's just not possible. It's not a realistic expectation. It's an extravagant expectation which we can't fulfil. We're not just here for the one child, we're here for all children.
I had a parent keep a tally for the whole year, and they came to me at the end of the year and they knew how many merit certificates at Monday morning assemblies all the children had got, and their child had received far less, apparently, than some other children, and they felt that we were victimising their child.
Excuse me for laughing, but that is ridiculous. Surely in your job you haven't got time to have meetings with parents about that sort of nonsense?
Well, I'd prefer not to, but if I ignore that parent, I'll then have another problem, which is that I'm not respecting the parent, and some parents take that very seriously.
In Mandurah, south of Perth, Kevin Saunders used to think there was nothing more important than a good education for his son. Not anymore. Late last year, he says he had no choice but to take 16-year-old James out of John Tonkin College.
But he wanted to learn. That's where I was sticking up for him all the time, because all he wanted to do was learn. And they didn't want to teach him. That's where the frustration gets in.
Kevin admits James wasn't the easiest student to teach.
Some tried to help.
He had learning and behavioural difficulties.
Why? Because I told the truth.
But instead of putting in more effort, he felt the school gave up on his son. It's an allegation the school rejects.
He's a hard kid to work with. He's a flat-out kid, but there's a lot of flat-out kids out there. But why can't they want to spend time with him? That's where it makes it hard.
When Kevin tried to voice his disappointment, he claims he wasn't given the respect parents deserve. The relationship between the Saunders family and the school deteriorated to the point where Kevin says he became persona non grata.
We should be able to have the right, but I didn't have the right. I got escorted out of there. I spoke up for my child and I got escorted out of there. Why can't we have the right to speak up for our children? If we do, we get kicked out of there.
The problem starts when your child comes to you and says, look, I'm being bullied and nothing is happening.
This man knows Kevin's frustration. He's a parent who's become an enemy of the education system. To protect his children from retribution, he doesn't want to be identified. But he does want to be heard.
I just want my children to be treated like any other students, everybody, that they receive a decent education. If there is an issue, that it's addressed, and that overall it's not a bullying, toxic school environment.
Like any father would, when his daughter complained about being bullied, he got on the phone and sent emails to the school. But he says he was then accused of bullying them.
So look, we need to discuss this. Something is going wrong here in the communication. What can we do? And instead of discussing it with us and communicating, the response was, oh, you've communicated too much with the school. We are putting you onto a communication protocol.
Yes, they banned you from dealing directly with your children's teachers.
Correct.
He says the Department of Education labelled him a nuisance and sent this formal notice banning him from communicating directly with teachers.
So you think the problem has come about by the way the school is managed, not by your expectations.
Correct. I don't think that my expectations are unreasonable.
The school says in one term there was about 66 emails.
Yeah, that was this quarter. And to be honest, I was surprised by the amount of emails as well.
But it's no surprise for principals like Dr. John Collier and Henry Grossick, who say they deal with similar crises with increasing regularity.
There are a percentage of parents out there who, at the drop of a small problem at school, will come batting for their children before there was a need to.
When I started teaching, if a parent was presented with an incident, the parent would simply adopt the school's version, and that would be the end of it. Now, some parents want forensic evidence, as if it's a court case. Now, that's extremely unhelpful.
When helicopter parents become guided missiles with teachers and principals as their targets, the results can be very messy indeed. Where once upon a time the P&C committee here at Sydney's Bondi Beach Public School was probably involved in fetes and fun runs, last November the P&C president seemingly decided he should have the right to publicly shame the principal and campaign for her removal. It was not only an astonishing attack, it was an extraordinary test of power. Bondi Public's P&C president, Rob Keldoulis, sent a mass email to parents and staff, which detailed a range of serious allegations, not proven, against the school's principal, Theyby Evans. He claimed his actions were legitimate given the seriousness of the allegations. The public trashing of Principal Evans' reputation, though, led her to take immediate sick leave. Today, the school is still without a permanent principal, and some parents are still confused about what happened.
I was shocked. My experience with her directly was she was nice to me, so I can only judge what I've encountered.
I don't really know what she did or what she didn't do, but they should be dealt with through the normal channels, through the education department, I would say.
Other parents, though, defend the actions of the P&C.
I think it's a great feeling to have the power as a parent.
The parents ran your principal out of town, effectively.
I want to stress that it's a minority of our experiences across the public education system, and we urge all our parents to work with us productively and harmoniously, realising we'll have complexities along the way.
Murat Dizdar runs school operations for the New South Wales Department of Education, responsible for 2,200 schools across the state, and responsible for the teachers and principals in them.
When they arise, we ask our parents not to run those campaigns through the media.
This one has arisen and it has happened.
Well,
so when
in our view,
get
totally unacceptable, and it shouldn't be the case.
What's happened at Bondi Public School is a public relations disaster for the New South Wales Education Department, caught in the middle of the parents' campaign. 7 months on, Theyby Evans' future is no clearer. The Education Department still hasn't investigated the claims against her and hasn't appointed a new principal. It seems to take bureaucratic inaction to a new level.
Here's the million-dollar question. How can one of your principals do their job properly if they can be removed in such a fashion?
I think it's also very important for us to realise that the example you're referring to is by far the minority of our experiences.
But it doesn't matter. What I'm saying to you is, how far are you going to back your own principals? How can they do their job if a group of parents, any parents, can remove them?
In my experience, we've got lots of principals doing a remarkable job leading and managing complex school communities.
I'm not interested in the good ones.
people.
I'm not interested in the good ones. This is the whole point. I'll ask you that question again.
Sure.
All that's happened here is that you've listened to the parents. Seven months later, she still hasn't got a job back. You still haven't finished the investigation. All you did was listen to the parents, but they didn't follow the right processes. What's their penalty?
I'd encourage the Bondi Beach P&C, like I'd encourage 2,206 other public school P&Cs, to work closely with their school community, and if not happy, if still aggrieved, if the outcomes are not suitable, to work through the department.
The horse has bolted.
Well, we should all take note from this case and from this example, and we should all recalibrate and back in the profession and back in principals who, in my experience, turn up to a school context each and every day, giving their darndest to make a difference to young lives.
In WA, Kevin Saunders says until teachers and principals start listening more closely to what he says are the legitimate concerns of parents, many more students will be failed by the education system. He says he's not prepared to let that happen without a fight, and he's proud to stand up for those less vocal than he is.
For the rights of the 20% of the kids that aren't getting the right education. That's why I'm trying to speak out, because I'm sick of this going on, and if I don't speak out, nobody else is going to, and if I don't, it's just going to continue on all the time.
But George Alerts says that attitude is unfair and hurtful to all teachers. Constant criticism of his profession is why, after 7 years, he quit.
Now we've got our key in, pull the pin in.
He says he tried his best, but simply couldn't continue to face the aggro of parents. He's now training to be a signalman for the railways.
Unless we can sort of change the way that we want to look at teachers and support them for the job that they're doing, if we continue to undermine them, devalue them, then I think it's going to be incredibly hard to get the tough parents to have a little bit of respect for the job.
Would you ever go back?
No.
Why not?
No. It broke my heart, to be honest. So, yeah, no, I couldn't do it again. I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself through it again. I couldn't do it to my family. Couldn't do it. And I couldn't do it, I wouldn't be able to do a good enough job. So I couldn't do it for my kids, as in my students. I wouldn't be able to do it properly.
The Department of Education in Western Australia has issued a statement about Kevin Saunders and his son James's experience at John Tonkin College. It says it's not acceptable for any parent to be aggressive to any school staff member. But it also maintains the college provided extensive support and opportunities to the Saunders family. The statement is on our website.
Welcome back to 60 Minutes. Here's a friendly warning. You're not going to like some of what you're about to see, and some of the people you're about to meet are guaranteed to infuriate you. But before you throw things at the TV, watch them in action and let them have their say. After all, in a way, they're just like you and me, proud and loving parents. Only they like to do things a little bit differently. All right, not a little bit, a lot differently.
Down there in front of you. There it comes. Pulling down the neck. Whoa. Don't lift him up. Don't lift him up.
There are two kinds of parents in this world, conventional and not so conventional.
Just breathe on him. Breathe on him. Breathe on him. Talk. Oh, that's it.
Shani and Julius Keezer are the latter.
You're here. How my darling.
Good job.
Oh, you are cute.
It's just like the rest of them. You did so well, Sean. Just holding up alright.
We're definitely not keeping up with the Joneses.
We don't even know them.
We like just take each day as it comes.
They kicked us out a long time ago.
We've been filming with the Keezer family for more than a year. Shani and Julius work from home on the Sunshine Coast to spend more time with their growing brood of homeschooled kids. For this couple, being fit and healthy is not just a lifestyle. It's their reason for being. Online, Shani calls herself the fit mum.
Awesome. Do you want to grab the placenta for me, Shani?
And every week, she surprises her followers with something new. After the birth of her latest baby, Magnus, she ate her own placenta for its claimed health benefits.
I'll start processing it as soon as I can and we'll get it back to you within 24 hours.
It's an ancient practice becoming popular again after one of those Kardashians did it.
Come on, let's see you work.
And she won't waste time lying on the couch post-birth. Shani's got to get back to being the fit mum after all. And she's devised a new form of exercise for mums that's pretty out there.
We don't have gym memberships. We just train with our kids, squat with them, use your kids as weights, or I could even breasticize, put him on the boob and exercise while I'm breastfeeding. That's a...
Breasticize.
So it's either feed him on the couch or go out and be with the kids. So rather than just sitting there, I was standing there watching them. Magnus was fussing and I was just started squatting and lunging. I'm like, hey, this is... And Julie's like, this is a thing. So that's kind of how it happened, and it's just purely to clear my mind, multitask, all that sort of stuff.
Okay, everybody else, let's go.
Let's go, quick, come on! Quick! Quickly!
Sure, Shani's not exactly conventional. Not everybody wants to weightlift when pregnant. Have baby number 6 at home, stick to a strict clean eating regime for her and her kids, or try to snap back into shape right after giving birth. Even her eldest son, Josh, says her life is a little out there. What are your mum and dad like on a day-to-day basis? Are they extreme?
Yeah, wild. If you had to put it into one word, it's wild around here, but we have lots of fun. You know, it's a lovable madhouse. We have a good time, that's for sure.
Have you ever said to them, Mum, Dad, relax?
Oh, every now and again, definitely. It's just like, woo up, woo up. I don't want to wake up at 5:30. I'll wake up at 8. Like, I'll deal with that.
But Shani's had enough of people telling her that her unconventional parenting style should be more like theirs.
As mothers, we judge ourselves enough every day without having others feel like they need to put their 2 bob in. I think that we don't need any extra help with judging whether we're doing okay as a mum and doing okay as a wife.
But you're also being deliberately provocative. When you're blogging about this sort of stuff or writing about it, it's going to provoke a response.
Well, I found a lot of people just throw random comments out, and I feel like saying, you know, you don't have to just get behind the keyboard. You can actually just go and play with your kids instead of judging me.
What do you say to them?
Oh, that's their problem.
I honestly just don't care, because whenever I'm negative towards someone else or I'm judging someone else, it's because I've got my own stuff that I'm dealing with and I'm not focused on my own goals. If I'm focused on myself, being a great mum, being a great wife, focusing on what I want to achieve in my life, then I'm not worried about anyone else.
Living in our RV with us, we have Daniel, Thomas. Look, I already screwed it up. Should I start over? Living in our RV with us, we have Daniel, Jacob, Thomas, Joel, Emma, Savannah, Molly, and Caleb.
Hello. And they have 4 more children who've already grown up. How does it even enter your mind that you can pile all these kids into a caravan and live on the road permanently?
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe Vaughn and I are having this like midlife crisis and we're just dragging our kids along with us. I don't know. You know?
That's some midlife crisis.
Yeah, well, we're going on 7 years, so.
If you keep having kids, some point or another, you're going to need a bigger RV.
Well, they make
We'll just pack them in like sardines.
Good living here?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
We were a month into our trip, and we all kind of had a little family meeting, and it's like, well, guys, what do you think about this kind of lifestyle? And the kids were the ones that kind of came to us and said, do we have to go home and build another house? Do we have to do that?
And
like,
we just
no.
haven't.
Now they live completely off the grid. And today they're camped in a trailer park in Texas.
You need to name the value of each one of these guys, okay? And then add them together for the total amount, okay?
Dana and Vaughn's children are home birthed and homeschooled. The whole tribe travels from one natural disaster zone to the next as a team of cleanup and crisis volunteers. Depending on your outlook on life, you'll either be horrified or a little jealous of what the Ticknors have managed to do. Do you worry that the kids are missing out on an ordinary kid's social life?
No.
No, it's an adventure. You're not bound by, how would you say, a routine. You're not bound by the confinements of a time schedule most of the time. It's an adventure. It's something where you get to get out and you get to experience things instead of just read about them in a book.
When you spend time with the Ticknors, you realise they're a lovely family. Their children are respectful and polite and are clearly adored by their parents. But there's another thing that makes them unconventional. They like guns a lot.
Okay, so you're gonna grab it like, and pretend, keep your finger off the trigger though. Put it up like that.
Today, it's the baby of the family, Caleb's chance to fire his first gun at this family range.
Okay. You know what? You gotta squeeze the trigger.
He's 4.
There you go. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, that's not working.
Then, 10-year-old Emma has her first attempt at shooting a semi-automatic.
Okay.
It's incredibly uncomfortable to watch. But these parents just don't see the harm.
I think it's a great family sport. I want our kids to have the skill to defend themselves, you know, if they're in a situation where they need that.
Are some of the kids too young, do you think?
No.
How young is too young?
Probably like 2, 3, and under. It totally depends on the kids. We're very, I like to think that we're very proactive in our parenting. You teach your kids what's okay and what's not. And, you know, we're really comfortable with our parenting and the way that we've chosen to handle this. And so, you know, I'm sorry that they're not comfortable with it, but this is how we're going to continue to parent our kids and how we're going to teach our children. So we think it's a really good skill and knowledge base for them to have.
So butt out.
Pretty much, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The world is going to say, you're a beautiful family, lovely children, but your views on guns are off the reservation.
That's okay. Maybe it'll make them, you know, think about it a little more, because we have this crazy society that's saying, you know, guns are the problem, but they're not looking at the evil person who's going to find some way to hurt others. And so they're trying to take, you know, a way for us to protect ourselves away.
On the Sunshine Coast, Shani and Julius are not quite done being unconventional either. The pair has controversially earned a name for themselves by doling out tough love to women who want to lose weight, and even some who don't.
90% of them will be just lazy.
Their no excuses pregnancy and post-baby fitness regime has raised more than one eyebrow.
If you're ready to hear the truth from someone or from yourself and you actually admit it, if you look at the reason someone's fat, if they look at the reason they're fat, it's usually they just got a little lazy. We know that people feel better the more they do for themselves.
Yeah.
They get really offended, but they'll come around eventually. It's usually the people that are most offended they need to hear it the most.
And whenever I've been fat, it's my fault. I've been eating too much because I just liked food and I ate too much and everything got really big.
Do you have any fat friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, we still talk to fat people.
There's flooding in Louisiana, and they're off to help out. But don't bother flooding their Facebook page with outrage about the way the Ticknors raise their kids. This family couldn't care less what you think. People are just going to think you're crazy.
Okay.
I think we're not crazy, we're just unconventional. And we just have a lot of things that we still want to do with our kids. And yeah, it's okay. The detractors can talk all they want because we're very happy where we're at. The vicious ones, they just tend to be unhappy people and they need to find their own dream. And you have to feel bad for them because if they're online hating so much, that means they're not outliving their own life. You know? So we never read the comments.
We do so.
Occasionally until I start getting mad and then I shut the laptop and we go do something fabulous.
The new approach to education that will have you falling off your chair. You see, there's no school, no classes, no teachers, no tests, nothing. The kids do whatever they want, whenever they want. It's not homeschooling, it's unschooling. Giving your children control over their own education may sound crazy, but as Michael Usher discovered, the results are very surprising.
Who are part of an increasing movement called unschooling. For them, there are no desks, no tests, no books or curriculum.
It's allowing your children to learn naturally through their passions and what they enjoy to do.
But when do they learn to read and write and add up?
Everyday life.
To understand unschooling, take everything you know about education and turn it on its head. There are no subjects, only life. The basics, like reading, writing and maths, come naturally when the kids are ready. Unschooled children learn what they want, when they want. It's completely up to them.
It's very much about teaching them how to learn themselves. So rather than just giving them some facts, teach them how to find those facts and also how to problem solve.
I love your one-eyed monster.
Unschooling is not homeschooling, where children follow a curriculum and are regularly tested. Rachel and George Clark have removed their 4 kids from the education system altogether. They believe that everyday life can educate their children better than teachers and textbooks.
You've rejected, in a way, the school system that most people think is not only a right but a privilege.
Depends on who you talk to.
Well, I think our education system hasn't changed substantially in a lot of years, and it still suits a lot of children. They're happy to do what the teachers ask, happy to learn as they're told, in the order they're told. You know, we learn small bits to get to the bigger bit. Some kids, like our eldest, they want to see the big picture And then they'll fill in the gaps of the smaller stuff when they need it.
No, I'm not dying. I am not dying.
Rachel and George first turned to unschooling to help their eldest daughter, Jemima, who has Asperger's. The Clarks say Jemima thrived when they took her out of school. So they also withdrew 9-year-old Millie. And their son, William, has never set foot inside a classroom.
Done. Leave me.
For us, it became a real battle at home in terms of trying to get her to school and then trying to get her to do what the teachers had asked. And I just watched my daughter go downhill really quickly in terms of her anger, frustration,
Self-esteem.
anxious, just everything. So eventually I realised the system didn't fit her and I needed to remove her.
The system wanted her to fit in.
Yeah.
And she didn't fit in.
No, she didn't fit that system.
While the Clarks are very much in the middle of their education experiment. In rural Victoria, the results are in for one unschooling family. On their farm just outside of Bendigo, the Singh brothers are coming home to visit mum Carly. The former teacher unschooled all 5 boys, and all have gone on to follow their passion, which for most has meant tertiary degrees or trades.
When I learned that children naturally have a wonderful love of learning and they want to find out things for themselves, I simply allowed for that.
The results are quite amazing. Joel, the oldest, has a PhD in information technology and now works for internet giant Google. 30-year-old Dion is a social worker specialising in at-risk teenagers. Tali is at university studying music, which the youngest, Eric, also wants to do. And 19-year-old Liam works with horses as an apprentice farrier.
Of your boys who've gone on to study later, how have they done that without a school qualification?
For Joel, who's the eldest, he kind of got a bit bored. Here at the age of 13 decided he'd like to, find something outside of the home to do. So we applied for him for the next year to do a computing course, and he did that computing course. He found it so boring, he did that one and the next year's one all in the same year. Then went on to do another course, eventually went through and finished university younger than any other university student in Bendigo.
We can't let children just pick and choose what they want to eat, nor can we let them pick and choose what they want to learn.
Dr. David Zinger is a senior education lecturer at Monash University. He's concerned with the rise of unschooling in Australia, which is largely unregulated and outside the control of state education departments.
I think state authorities need to look very carefully at unschooling because it certainly doesn't meet the needs of accreditation of parents following a school curriculum.
Because there is no curriculum.
Well, the curriculum is decided by the child, and if the child wants to play all day, then I guess that's what they do.
If there were a global headquarters for this free-range education revolution, it would be this unassuming home in the woods of New Hampshire in America's northeast.
What are you guys making?
I'm melting a crayon. She's melting crayons with a glue gun.
Will this work if I call?
I don't know, Tiff. You're going to have to. I don't have time to.
No, our kids have never been tested. They've never learned from a textbook. Our life, we're just learning. It's no different than how you might live or I might live. I don't say right now, I'm doing math because I'm baking a cake. That's really not natural. We don't live life like that.
Author and unschooling advocate Dana Martin is the inspiration for many.
Would you make me a plant hanger again?
Sure, yeah.
I could use another one.
She and her husband Joe practice what they call radical unschooling.
Oh, you're going to do a trail of fire to it?
Yeah.
That means their 4 kids don't just have total control over what they learn, but whatever they do and whenever they do it.
Our kids don't have bedtimes. They don't have any restrictions on any kind of media, and they can eat what they want when they want. Now, when somebody first hears that, they tend to think...
Well, I'm about to say, that just sounds like chaos.
I know, and most people think that. If you would have told me that 15 years ago, I would have believed the same thing. However, they make really good choices for themselves. Our kids go to bed when they're tired. They wake up when they're rested. Freedom and trust are the basis of this life, but I know it's really hard for most parents.
Yeah, I mean, the kids have total freedom to, you know, anything from jumping on the trampoline at 2 a.m. to staying up late, you know.
How late do the kids go to bed sometimes?
Yeah, well, I mean, just last night, I basically said, what do you think, Orion? Are you ready to go to bed? And it was 3:05 a.m. And he said, yeah, I'm tired.
And how old is he?
And he's 5.
I do little jabs, you know? Great.
They may go to bed and get up late, but a rules-free lifestyle doesn't mean the Martin kids sit on their hands.
There we go.
Devon, the eldest, spends much of his time learning practical skills, like woodwork and blacksmithing.
If I'm interested in woodworking, then I'm going to woodwork. You know, if I'm interested in a video game, I'm going to play that video game. You know, whatever I want to do, I can do.
Have you looked at subjects, though? Like, if you went to school, you'd do history, geography, math, English?
If I wanted to, I would. I'm learning what I'm doing, and I'm doing it pretty well, I'd like to think. And I figured I can learn almost anything that way. History would be easy. I just go online and read about it.
So you can learn a lot from online. You can learn a lot from YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, we call it YouTube, the University of YouTube, or YouTube University.
Have you ever thought that you might like to go to school?
I've thought about it a few times for about 4 seconds, and I realized, of course not. Why would I want to leave this life and go to school?
But back in Bendigo, the experience of the Sing boys suggests that unschooling can deliver very mixed results. So most students in school would learn to read at the age of 6. How old were your kids?
Some of the children have really struggled with reading in particular, and so 2 of them were 11 and 12, another 2 were 14, and Liam at 19 still finds reading quite difficult.
Carleen is the first to admit that not all her boys have thrived academically or even achieved basic literacy.
Hold good, put your head up.
While Liam has found a successful career as a farrier, he still has trouble with the basics.
I've struggled with reading and writing a little bit.
Is that because if you don't find an interest in it, you don't do it?
I don't really think that that's my problem. I'm not really sure. I just know that I've always found it really, really difficult to read and write.
And older brother Dion didn't really learn to write till he was well into his 20s.
I think I really only learned to write maybe, might be 7 years ago when I actually had to. So up until then I just got out of it or avoided it in any way that I could.
Did that set you back, that you didn't have that basic skill?
No, I just found ways around it, I think.
Learning to read and write is the most difficult thing that a child will ever learn, and it's the most important thing that a child will ever learn. And to be successful in life today, children need to be literate and numerate, and children cannot learn to read and write by themselves.
If the boys were in school, might they have learnt to read earlier or at least have problems identified earlier?
I don't think they would have learned to read any faster. And I think what would have occurred is they wouldn't have been able to become the people that they've become because they haven't had any of that pressure to be a certain way or to learn in a certain manner that other people have learned.
And now another generation of Carleen's family is keeping away from the classroom. Joel and his wife Nikki have decided to unschool their 4 children.
One of the things that is brilliant about unschooling is it means that you can follow the things that you're interested in.
So you wouldn't consider structured classroom education for your children at all?
No. At this point in time, this is what I can see has worked, and the outcome that is provided for Joel and his brothers is certainly an outcome that I would be interested in for my children.
Got your pile? William's got a few. Millie, I think you're missing a few.
In Toowoomba, the Clark kids have no problem with literacy. Both Jemima and Millie are avid readers, and William is gradually picking it up.
William, at the age of 6 now, amazes me, all the stuff and the letters he knows, and just everyday life they learn it.
But you don't push them in front of a book to learn to read or write or do maths?
No, I do like to encourage them, especially my 6-year-old, to do some letters and numbers today, but that might be just a jigsaw.
One of the things all these families insist is that unschooling does not mean unparenting. It's a hands-on job finding new ways for their children to learn every day. And there are no school holidays or breaks.
I've got to say, as a parent who's happy to send their kids off to school, it sounds like a lot of hard work, what you're doing.
It's a lot easier than school. We're very much happy to send our kids to school. Before it didn't work. Doesn't work. I now know so much more. I think it doesn't work for all children. And if it's not working and we've got an alternative, let's do the alternative.
And they're so happy.
They are, yeah.
It's only 6 weeks since 300,000 Australian children took their first steps through the school gate. For many of their parents, along with the usual tears and butterflies, can be a niggling doubt. Is their child ready? And if you're looking for reassurance that you've made the right decision, the latest research doesn't help. Send them too early and they may never catch up in academic results or self-esteem. Start them later and they're more likely to be the success of the classroom, not just in their first year, but for the rest of their school life.
Got him?
Callum Godfrey is clever and inquisitive.
C-A-L.
And every waking moment, he's wonderfully busy. This almost 5-year-old could have started school this year, but for one reason. His mum, Alison, decided he wasn't ready. And did you have any opposition to your decision?
No, not at all. Every single person we know who knows Callum, particularly all of the teachers that we know, said, hold that kid back.
I don't want him in my classroom.
Like, please don't send him yet.
Callum is a victim of his own exuberance and of being born at the wrong time on the school calendar.
Try that? Yes.
He is eligible for school this year because he turns 5 before the New South Wales end of July cut-off. Across the country, your child can start school if they turn 5 by a certain date. But they must be enrolled by the year they turn 6. Given the choice of starting early or waiting, more and more parents are deciding to wait the extra year. What do you reckon is the right age to send children to school?
For my child, he needs to go when he's 6, not when he's 5.
And why is that?
Academically, he's great. Socially and emotionally, he's just not there. He can't sit still. If he was in a classroom, he would want to jump up and run around and he would disturb the other kids.
Good morning, amazing people.
Good morning, Mr. Sheller.
13 days into 13 years of school life, and to my eye, these young ones are doing fantastically well.
Dominic, can you come up and circle an S on the board? Everybody, what might be your turn next? Good boy.
But with the ages of the students in this kindergarten class ranging from 4.5 to 6, it means there's also a range of different abilities. And not surprisingly, the older kids often outscore the younger ones.
There are 1 or 2 children I noticed in the class would find it hard to focus. Some have their language skills when I talk to them are not as advanced as others. And some find it harder to play with other children. So these are the little kinds of warning signs.
After 36 years as a principal in primary schools, no one knows more about when to start educating kids than Warren Hopley. Is it good for those children to be here?
It's not always great, no. We don't always make the right decisions. And I have my own daughter, was a May birthday, and my wife, and she's now 33, and my wife and I still discuss whether we made the right decision.
For most parents, sending their kids to school for the first time is one of life's more significant milestones, and often an emotional reckoning that their babies are growing up just too quickly. But exactly when to send them has become the talk at the school gate. International research says forcing a 4.5 or 5-year-old into structured learning in the classroom when they're not ready could even lead to a lifetime of failure for the child.
They can't live up to their full potential. So 4.5 for many children is not, they're not necessarily ready for that reading and writing process. That language development hasn't quite got there, but we're pushing them into things where there's a readiness is not quite right.
Put your hands together.
Yay!
Oh,
good
look at that.
Jason Ackermanis is not just an outspoken AFL legend. He's also a husband to Megan and father to 8-year-old Charlotte and 4.5-year-old Sienna.
Does anyone want a kick?
And like many families, they too struggled with the school readiness dilemma. When the decision came to sending your eldest daughter to school, was that an easy one or a difficult one?
No, it wasn't easy at all.
It was easy for me, and it was difficult for her.
Yeah, it took
Basically.
me years.
It did.
Yeah, 3 years of thinking and talking and pondering and, yeah, to try and work out what to do.
And what was your decision?
Whatever she said. 2 years, I had no worries. What were we? Oh, yeah, okay.
What about me?
They joke about it now because they're sure they made the right decision to hold Charlotte back, to protect the mind and spirit of their beautiful, bright daughter.
From an academic perspective, we weren't worried about that at all. She could have gone, when she was 3 or 4, it wouldn't have mattered. But the most important thing for me was her social and emotional skills, because I wanted her to feel secure when she was at school and safe, so that then she could tackle the academic side of things.
Has it worked?
Oh,
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it says it's an app.
If Charlotte went to school earlier, there would have been nearly a year and a half's age difference between her and the oldest child in the class.
When you're 4 and 5 years old, I feel like that's a huge difference, and I just felt like the gap was just too large, and so I didn't want her to be one of the younger ones. And the confidence, that they lose sometimes from not experiencing success in those early days can be really shattering. Yeah.
It is a huge consideration for mothers. How can I better my child?
Were you ever seduced by that idea?
No.
Why
No.
not?
I think you have to believe in your children.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Yes.
Is school the best thing ever?
Yeah.
7-year-old twins, Poppy and Zinzan, were just 4 years and 9 months old when they went to school. For their mum, Fiona Hayden, there was no reason for holding her children back, despite it being such a hot topic.
Backpacks on your back, hats on.
2 years on, she's still happy with her choice.
You can't give them that fear to start off with. Oh, we'll hold you back because you're smaller. We'll hold you back because you're younger. You want your children to believe in themselves. You can do it. And we will back you.
Are we thinking too much about it? Are we?
Absolutely.
Are we?
Yes, absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because if there is a major issue, you can always repeat them.
The economic truth for some parents is they simply can't afford the extra year of costly childcare.
Can you pass the books around, Tim? Just here to your little group.
Flowers.
So you can see the lily pads and the flowers, yep.
And so are forced to send their kids, ready or not.
I see rocks in the pond.
Their comfort has been the long-held view that by year 2 or 3, the stragglers in the classroom no longer struggle. Warren Hopley says, think again.
I often say that to parents. Why are you taking the risk? What's the advantage in it?
And why are they?
Oh, I think that they feel that their child's okay and that it's really not as bad as it's made out to be, and they feel their child's quite bright, really. But they don't always see their child in the context of other children like I can on a daily basis.
The counter to what you're saying is that there is other research that says kids catch up and that eventually they're fine. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
They don't catch up?
No, I think that there is a gap, and the gap is dangerous if we don't do something about it.
Dangerous?
I think dangerous is a fair word to you, yeah.
I wouldn't like my child to be the youngest in the class and for 13 years.
Boys and girls are different, right? And it's okay to say that.
For boys, it's even tougher. Warren says when they start school, they're already 6 to 12 months behind the girls.
The further research is showing that the boys don't necessarily catch up until they're 18 or 19 and sometimes into their mid-20s.
What is the trouble with boys?
You're asking a very big question.
I know.
And there's lots of good things about boys. I think boys are great, but the crisis is, at this stage is really around their social and emotional development.
Here at St Mary's Primary, a Catholic school in Sydney's inner west, they're addressing and embracing the differences of age and gender by trying a new style of classroom and teaching in kindergarten.
Did you build those towers? What were they for?
Along with the conventional, there's time set aside to learn through play, which is especially beneficial for active boys.
Not have too much water in there, not too less in there.
Boys are given all this testosterone, all this energy, and it's telling them, get out there and run and use it up, this gift we've given you. And then we sit them in a classroom behind a chair and a desk all day. Like, that's just not reasonable. So, but when you engage boys and you give them choice and you give them relevance about what they're learning, well, they can use this energy and turn it into something great.
But even when boys love what they're doing, age makes a difference. And it's been scientifically proven on the unlevel playing field of sport. By looking at the birth dates of AFL players, researchers have found that many more of the best players were born in the first 3 months of the year. When they joined the under-6s, they were the oldest and often the biggest in their age group. That advantage has stayed with them into adulthood, all the way through into the professional league. Now, the bad news is, if you're born at the end of the year, so therefore the youngest and sometimes the smallest, you're less likely to make it into the big time. And you might have guessed it, the supremely confident and successful Jason Ackermanis is a February baby. As a former Brownlow medalist, and now player and coach with the North Albury Hoppers.
These handballs have got to get out. We're going too high, you get taken out.
Jason Ackermanis has clearly benefited from having age on his side.
So if you're that much bigger and that much more mature and you're born in the first 3 months of the year, you can be a sports superstar.
If you're a recruiter, you can just completely look at that. You could almost target test them. You could almost target those guys.
More dirt.
In a world where success seems defined by birth date, Callum Godfrey doesn't know it yet, but his future is being meticulously planned.
That's good.
And what he faces in 13 years is another reason he's not putting on a uniform today.
What happens when he's in year 12, and do we want him to be 18? Or do we want him to be the 17-year-old kid who's going around begging people to buy him alcohol, who is going to get into a lot more trouble and do things illegally? I think I'd rather take the choice that he was more mature and that he was doing it legally.
We all want to protect our children, but is this an extension of cotton wooling? Isn't life a little bit about not always being the best, not always being the leader, not always being the oldest?
That's true. But I don't think it's about cotton wooling them. What we want to do by sending him late is to just give him the best chance to be the best Australian he can be.
To wait or not to wait? That is the agonising question for parents.
Wait, said Susie.
Because when the school bell rings, we all want our children to thrive. For more and more, that means an extra year at home.
He's going to go when he's absolutely ready, that we're not pushing him into something, and that when he is ready, we know that he's going to love it.
What you're about to see challenges all conventional notions about parenting. It may offend, perhaps even anger many of you. It's called attachment parenting, a back-to-basics approach to child raising that's becoming more and more popular with mums here and around the world. The idea is that mothers agree to every demand a child makes, anytime, day or night. They ask their permission to change a nappy, let them sleep in the grown-up's bed, and even breastfeed them through preschool and beyond. But don't just dismiss all of this as New Age extremism. There is some compelling science behind it.
Yeah, it must have got spoken.
For Molly, breastfeeding her daughter couldn't be more natural. Her child is content and their bond is incredibly strong. But Amelia is no baby. She's a growing toddler in preschool.
My daughter is almost 4 and she nurses maybe 5 times a week now.
When do you think she'll wean?
She has decided that on her 4th birthday, she'll be done.
But she has decided?
Yes.
It's not something you have decided as a mum?
No, and it's normal. You know, it might not be socially accepted or socially normal, but biologically it's completely normal.
This normal or natural approach is called attachment parenting. Basically, what baby wants, baby gets. Mums and kids are joined at the hip. What was considered extreme is now mainstream and more popular than ever. It's got mums and the experts divided.
My concern is that at that extreme end of attachment parenting, there's that sense that I actually can't manage this world on my own, which means that if I've got a problem, I need you next to me as my mum.
The main quality I've seen in these children is empathy. These are kids who care. I have never yet seen a school bully who was attachment parented.
When I actually add up the years of breastfeeding, I've breastfed for something like 6 years altogether.
In suburbs around Australia, parents like mother of 3 Simone Casey are rejecting generations of motherly advice. Gone are the rigid routines of scheduled feeding times and controlled crying, where babies are left to cry themselves to sleep. Attachment kids share their parents' bed and breastfeed on demand.
He'll call milk me, and he'll just go me, me, me like that.
When 2-year-old Levi wants to breastfeed, Simone obliges, whether she's working or out with friends.
If you're trying to talk, have a coffee and have a talk, you know, you've got your toddler pulling you off, and then he'll go and say me, and I'll go okay, you know, and so he'll have a bit of a drink, and then I can finish my conversation. So,
is that good for him, or is it convenient for you?
Oh, look, he wants it, so you know, I think it's a bit of both, really.
When you're not relaxed, you kind of get a bit antsy and you might think that everyone's looking at you and they're not necessarily.
Well, that's right.
Simone and her friends, Andy, Natalie and Justina, have ignored advice from previous generations.
Do you know Bodhi's never ever cried? Like at night for me?
And they've gone back to basics.
I really believe it's just what we're biologically and hormonally designed to do, and that's respond to your child's needs.
Andy Lou and her husband Warren have extended attachment parenting beyond just the nursing techniques and allow 2.5-year-old Bodhi to make his own decisions.
Even just to ask them to change their nappy for permission, and the more you talk to them about everything that you're doing, the more they learn. So, you know, I remember him being like days old and saying, Mummy's just going to change your nappy now, would that be okay?
If he doesn't like something, he has the option to say no, because he's a little human being.
Hi. Did you get shy?
These attachment parents practice what parenting guru Dr. Bill Sears pioneered in the 1970s.
Does this throw out the rule book, the parenting guides from the 50s, 60s and 70s?
It does. It discards those guidebooks of you know, get them on a schedule, bottle feeding's just as good. Now that was really wrong.
His books and teachings have never been more popular. Dr. Sears' basic philosophy is that mum needs to be 100% responsive to her baby's needs.
Beware of baby trainers, you know, the let them cry it out crowd. That crowd just causes a distance between mother and child.
Did the controlled crying crowd, as you put it, get it wrong?
They got it wrong. They got it wrong. Also, it's dangerous. Baby crying in another room unattended bothers the brain, meaning that the stress hormones in the brain get so high that they can bother the brain.
You're talking about brain damage?
Brain damage, yes.
Seriously?
Seriously.
I can hear some mothers saying, come on doctor, I got my child to sleep through the night with controlled crying and they don't have brain damage.
And your child probably turned out just fine. But crying is their language. So the baby says, nobody listens, I'm upset, I'm in a dark room all alone, and nobody is coming to me. So the baby loses trust in the parent.
I think we have to be very careful because mothers are left with extraordinary levels of guilt, extraordinary levels of fear.
Australian child psychologist Heather Irvine-Rundle says the demands of attachment parenting, like extended breastfeeding, put many mums under pressure that's neither fair nor helpful.
We know that breastfeeding is great. No one is going to argue with that. But why would you want mums at their most vulnerable time to feel worse than they already do?
What level of guilt do mums feel if they can't breastfeed all the time?
It's extraordinary guilt. If you haven't held a crying baby for 3 hours, please don't tell a mum how she should be managing her child. We just don't know what goes on in another mother's experience. We just don't. And until we do, let's just say, I see that works for you. Congratulations, power to you.
Attachment parenting hit the headlines after this recent Time magazine cover, with that strident pose with son Aram and the provocative question, are you mum enough? Los Angeles mother Jamie Grumet was suddenly the poster mum of attachment parenting.
My goal with doing this was to show people that this is a healthy option for your child and it shouldn't be stigmatized.
Punch hard. Yes, punch again.
Aram is 4 years old, he's an active toddler.
Yeah.
Isn't he old enough? Isn't it time to give it up?
Well, no, because he's not ready. And scientifically, if you look at other primates, they wean, in relation to human beings, we should be weaning 2.5 to 7 years. That's the normal range.
You were breastfed for quite a long time yourself. What are those memories of being breastfed for 6 years?
It feels like home. That's the best thing I can describe it. I remember breastfeeding my mom and feeling completely safe and secure.
Jamie's photo became a rallying cry for attachment mums around the world. Hundreds of other women, like Molly in Chicago, posed for similar photos and spread them across the internet in support of attachment parenting.
I'm just doing what feels natural for me. I have 2 wonderful children who I love dearly, and I couldn't see it any other way. I don't see it as a sacrifice at all.
And a bit of chain. He hooked up the land into
Perhaps one of the most contentious parts of this whole debate is how to put your baby to sleep. Attachment parents believe in co-sleeping or bed sharing. And there's hard scientific research to support what they're doing.
Babies need to sleep with their mothers. Mothers are designed to respond biologically to what makes their babies happy. What makes their babies happy? Being with their mothers. It goes on and on.
Sleep expert Dr. James McKenzie from America's prestigious Notre Dame University is challenging the conventional parenting advice about the safest way for babies to sleep.
I'm trying to document here the secret lives of babies in cribs.
After 20 years of research, he says the baby who falls into a deep sleep in a separate room, like this, is a bad thing.
What sleep like a baby really mean? Biologically, it means wake, feed, sleep. Wake, feed, sleep. Wake, feed, sleep. Not sleep. It just isn't there. And we can't keep pretending that it's okay to ignore what parents need to know.
Dr. McKenzie says sleeping close to or sharing a bed with mum teaches the baby crucial skills to awaken and correct irregular sleep. Something he says the baby learns from being in tune with mum's sleeping and breathing patterns.
Here, the mother has a little apnea. She pauses, she opens her eyes, she looks up, checks down at her baby, she goes back to sleep. Well, unbeknownst to her, as you say, about plus or minus 2 seconds later, her baby does the same thing.
Baby stirs as well.
Right.
So the mother and baby become synchronized.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yes. So one of the major hypotheses about why babies die from SIDS is that they have an arousal deficiency, meaning that they aren't able to awaken up quickly or effectively or efficiently to terminate an apnea.
But a warning here. There's a big difference between co-sleeping and just having the baby in the bed for convenience. Like in this case, where Dr. McKenna says the child is at risk. The mum is exhausted and unresponsive, and as recent cases in Australia have shown, the baby is at risk of any number of dangers, among them suffocation.
I would suggest that you should have your baby in at least the room, because we know that babies that are at least in the room and they get stimulated by something or maybe more inspections by the parent, they have a reduced risk of dying.
You know, you wake up and you're like, why am I awake? And then a minute later they want to feed.
For these attachment mums back in Melbourne, the science validates what their instincts have always told them.
I think the biggest thing that women are often worried about is rolling onto their baby or hurting their baby. But you, again, instinctually know where your baby is.
I actually despair when I hear a mother of, say, a 3 or 4 week old baby trying to actually detach themselves from the baby to get this baby to sleep on their own, to learn to self-settle, and that makes me feel sad because, you know, you have this baby, to be attached to the baby and to have this baby with you, and then suddenly you're trying to push it away already.
It's not a trend. It's really, in some ways, going back to our roots. It's rediscovering the art of parenting and the science of parenting.
What are the benefits of children raised by attachment parents?
They're connected kids. When they get to school, I've had many teachers come up to moms and dads and say, you know, tell me what you've done to rear such a nice child.
Molly certainly says that Amelia is proof of all of that, and she doesn't care how people judge her style of parenting, confident she's done exactly the right thing for her children.
They know that they're safe, and I think that's part of attachment parenting, is it creates a very, very securely attached child.
It doesn't make them clingy?
In my experience, no. They love being held, they love being cuddled, just as much as they want to get away.
Being a teenager is a tough gig, but how much harder must it be for thousands of adolescent girls who stumble into motherhood each year? While their friends party and gossip, these young mums, really just kids themselves, only want a good night's sleep. It's no wonder so many of them drop out and end up squandering their best years on welfare. But there is another way. It's not easy, far from it. Still, you don't get too many second chances at life. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. One little bub. Not so little anymore.
No, he's not. Corbin.
What age did you have the bub?
I had him 10 days before I was 16.
That's young.
Yeah, it was. So I pretty much had child services breathing down my neck for 10 days.
Were you worried that he was going to be taken off you?
No, because I knew that I was a good mum and they couldn't take him away from me even if they tried.
You can't slide down there now. Yeah, let's get it all off. While most 16-year-old girls might obsess about fashion or Facebook, Kat Smout's passion comes in one small package, her baby son Corbin. So how does he go on the train?
It's pretty ridiculous, actually.
Kat was just a child herself when she left home at 14. A year later, she was pregnant.
It wasn't at all planned, but there was no thought in my mind that I was going to get rid of it or not keep it, or, you know, just, I knew that I had to. So, and I wanted to, actually. I was excited from the word go.
From an early age, our kids are educated about safe sex and contraception. Yet, thousands of Australian teenagers still fall pregnant each year.
Love you.
And even in these tolerant times, they soon learn the stigma of being the schoolyard scandal.
Drink.
Like many teen mums, Kat's family rejected her and Corbin. Former friends trashed her reputation.
Ma?
Did it hurt when they said those things?
It didn't, because I'd had so many hurtful things said by my parents. I was just a bit numb, you know, I'm just used to it. So I'd deal with that every day, so I didn't really mind what they were saying because that's in their own mind. You know, half of them are pregnant now, so honestly the joke's on them.
Every human being needs love, and many of these girls have missed out on that. So they have these babies because it gives them something to love, and something that will give them love back unconditionally.
So this is our toddler creche, and we're doing playgroup at the moment.
This is part of their curriculum.
Part of their curriculum.
Time and again, high school teacher Jackie Dean watched teen mums forced to abandon their education, and with it, their hopes and dreams for the future.
Does anybody know how old you have to be before the police can charge you with a crime?
So 3 years ago, with the help of Queensland Education, Jackie created a program at Burnside High in Nambour, where motherhood and matriculation mix.
14 and 17, but right, earning or learning.
Is she a little bit like Mum?
Very much.
While the girls keep up with their studies and learn practical parenting skills,
Are we thinking teeth or? I think so.
their babies are right next door in the nursery.
Where's Mummy? They just want to be here, and it's not because it's easy street, it's because it is a safe environment for them, and everybody here is about improving their lives and the lives of their kids.
So for this lesson we're going to simulate the baby actually choking on a Lego block.
The course started with just 12 girls. Now Jackie has 45 students
And then we repeat that. Still not coming out?
and a growing waiting list. Kat is so dedicated, 3 times a week she and Corbin make the 280-kilometre round trip from her home in Ipswich to school in Nambour on the Sunshine Coast.
Like, they're the hardest things to wash. I've got to leave on the train at 4:30 in the morning, so anything after that and I'm going to be late.
So what time do you get home?
5 or 6 is probably the earliest that I'll get home if I leave at 2 from Nambour.
With a toddler.
With the toddler.
Are you nuts?
I think so at the moment.
You know, inside these 4 walls, for the mums and babies, they're very much protected from an outside world that can be incredibly harsh. This is a no-judgment zone. And for the mums, that's incredibly important. They crave it, they deserve it. They don't want their kids to go through what they have been through. And in some cases, trust me, that is horrific. How do people treat someone like you, someone young and pregnant?
Everybody that I spoke to, apart from my parents, had a really negative view. Your life's over. You know, you're pregnant so young, you've got so much life to live yet.
Every day, 20-year-old Tara Ann hears the same judgmental comments as most teenage mothers. But listen to her story and you realise not everyone fits the stereotype.
We went out to this party, and while I was there, we did normal things that teenagers do at parties: smoking, drinking, talking. But during that time, I believed that my drink was spiked because I was so out of control, and I knew that I hadn't had that much to drink. Then I started to black out. The next thing I remember was being in a car and being raped. And as a result of that rape, I fell pregnant.
Morning!
It's taken Tara Ann a long time to come to terms with what happened and to share her story.
So see you later, alligator.
But in spite of everything, including her tender years, her powerful maternal bond never wavered. There'll be people watching you who just won't be able to comprehend that you kept the child.
I know. I live with that decision every day, and I look at how beautiful he is. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Is it hard for you not to think of where he'd come from?
No, I look at him and I know that he's a part of me, and that if I cherish him as much as I can and I love him and I do the right things, that he'll grow up to be a good man.
Have a good day at school. Here at Burnside, Tara Ann is thriving. One more bag. Many of the girls hope to earn a Certificate 3, which enables them to work in childcare centres.
20 to 25 minutes.
But the curriculum is pretty standard, with subjects ranging from cooking
3b squared
to algebra.
Number 7.
b2d.
Yeah. No, next one. Next one down.
is, okay.
And in that department, Tara Ann is way ahead of me. This is giving me cold sweats and horrible flashbacks. Hey?
It's not that bad.
You find it fairly easy though, yeah?
Yeah, kind of.
So that's 3 times b.
People talk about outcomes and measuring outcomes and whatever. How do you measure that a mother now loves their child? Or that a mother now knows how to interact with their child? How do you measure that? That's what makes this program so important and so special.
Do you love these kids?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's terrible. I hate it when they leave. I cry like they're my own children leaving home. But it's so rewarding to see them ready to fly.
So Jess, this is your afternoons?
Yeah, pretty much.
23-year-old Jess Lanigan is one of those who's taken flight. Since completing the course, she's gone on to study for a teaching degree, while raising 3-year-old Mahalia and 5-year-old Kalaya.
Generally play, start dinner, wash uniforms, homework, bath, bed, study,
exhausted.
die.
But even for you to be going to university with 2 young kids is quite the achievement.
Definitely, I think. I've had a few friends that didn't have kids and we all kind of started at the same time. And a couple of them have already dropped out, like, oh, it was too hard. And I was kind of like, hard? You live at home. All you have to do is go to uni every day and come home.
You have until the following Friday at 12 noon.
Jess is the first in her family to go to university. Despite her early pregnancy, she's achieving a goal she never thought possible: to free her children from the cycle of welfare dependence.
It's not so much us that it's freeing from it, it's our kids as well, because we're going to be in a position to provide for them. So then they're going to have more options to sustain themselves. That kind of breaks the welfare cycle, I think anyway. Did you give Miss Ford your homework? Okay.
It's priceless. Look at Jess. You know, she has made an amazing transition from when she first came and joined me in the program to what she's now, what she's achieving. And that is what makes it all worthwhile.
And I did not want that to happen to me. And I remember
If young motherhood is a hard road now, Bernadette Black is here to remind the girls that 17 years ago, when she fell pregnant, it was even more taboo. How did your father react when he found out you were pregnant?
On the day that I told him, he went out into the middle of the main road. We lived on a main road, and he shouted to the whole of our suburb that his 16-year-old daughter had had sex and now she was pregnant.
Shouted it out.
Shouted it out. Like, my 16-year-old daughter's had sex and now she's pregnant. Louder, 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 louder. All of the neighbours heard it.
Ready, set, go! But just look at the cause of all that shouting today. Bernadette's son, Damien Oliver, is a confident young man. 2 more children with husband Steve completed the family.
Damien, tell me, how proud of Mum are you?
I can't explain how proud I am. I mean,
And if Bernadette needed further proof of how far she'd come from a teenage mum, it came just 2 years ago when she was named Bernardo's Mother of the Year.
I think she's done, such a great job, not with just me, but my siblings as well, and yeah, so...
There is hope out there.
Yeah, there definitely is, definitely.
Well, you're a testament to that.
Yeah, hopefully anyway.
Thanks to Burnside High, Jess Lanigan is looking forward to the same kind of bright future. But knowing the pitfalls, Jess is a little daunted at the prospect of guiding her own 2 daughters through the perils of teenage pregnancy.
Okay. Terrified, absolutely terrified of teenage daughters.
That is called karma.
No. I don't want karma.
What advice will you give them in their teenage years?
kind of in two minds. Like I want them to feel comfortable talking to me, but at the same time, I feel this really big need to like ship them off to a convent. Like.
It's worth remembering that all these girls could be staying home and collecting welfare.
It's all happening out here.
It's a bit chaotic.
But Jackie Dean is showing them, and the rest of us, that one fateful mistake doesn't have to mean a lifetime of regret.
Where do you see it all heading?
Look, my ideal is that we set up all over the country. All programs like this, where girls can access not just education, but the whole deal. The one-stop shop that we can offer here.
Turn it into something big.
Turn it into something big but wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So you got any homework for STEM?
No, but I have to go tomorrow and get a whole heap of books off them.
As for Kat, she's completely embraced her role as a mum.
So crack might have to be next year.
So much so, she and her partner Glenn are expecting their second baby.
Yep.
In childcare?
Yeah, of course.
But that doesn't mean she'll be leaving school.
So one child at 15, the second child at 18?
Yep.
You can't possibly make it.
I absolutely hate people that say that I can't do it. There's just nothing to it. I know that I can create a family for myself at this age, and I have to remind myself of my age sometimes.
So when someone says to you, Kat, you can't make it, what do you say?
A few words, and then I would actually say that I can, and just watch me.
Just watch me.
Yep.
It's no secret. At our most prestigious schools and universities, the names at the top of the honour rolls are now all Asian. And the reason is just as obvious. They study far more than their Western classmates. But what's now been revealed in a best-selling book by a Chinese mum is how that achievement is often driven by the extreme expectations of demanding mothers. They call them tiger mums. Pushy parents not satisfied with anything but perfect marks. It's tough love, all right, but when you see the results, you just might want to unleash some tiger power on your own kids. It's 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon and school's out. But for these kids in Sydney's West and thousands around the country, the academic day is far from over.
Nice and loud. What was that? Former, correct. F-O-R.
Their parents are fast-tracking them to success with extra tutoring at coaching college. And it's no coincidence the huge majority come from Chinese families.
And you enjoy learning, don't you?
Yes.
What is it about it that you love?
Well, I think it's like you take in new things and you know that someday all this information is going to come in handy and you are going to wow everyone with your awesome knowledge.
C-A-P-R-I-C-I-O-U-S, capricious.
That is correct. For 11-year-old Leanne Yang, being top of the class means everything. And her hours of extra study and coaching are paying off. She won the highly competitive New South Wales Spelling Bee and topped the state in her age exams.
She likes reading, she studies a lot. So now we need to plug in the number, the one that we are given.
Leanne's an only child, and her mum Amelia, like most Chinese parents, values academic excellence above all else.
No kids study naturally, but I think the most important thing is for them to know that they have got a responsibility to study. And once kids know that, it's much easier because you don't have to push them because they know this is my job, this is my duty, and I need to carry it out properly before I can have other fun.
If I didn't have to study, but I could still learn things, then no, I probably wouldn't study. But seeing as there's no magical brain pill that automatically gives you 100,000% brain power, then unfortunately. Maybe I'll invent it someday.
Leanne is happy to do her duty. That means an hour of piano practice, then homework, and on top of that, extra study she sets for herself. In this household, the computer and television are not for entertainment, but gathering information. Tell me, what do you consider Chinese parenting?
Well, it's a bit of a stereotype, but they do encourage their children a lot, and they're quite focused on education more than the other areas. So education is foremost, whereas in most Western families, not that I want to be discriminatory, but it seems that they have, of course, they're still interested in their child's education, but not so strict about it.
It's almost a case now where Western kids in schools say, well, I came first if you don't count the Asians.
Okay, now walk, okay, just walk, be careful on the stairs.
Ros Woofers opened her coaching college, the SWAT Shop, 20 years ago, and has seen Chinese parenting become a dominant force in Australian schools. Students from immigrant families started to fill her classes more than 10 years ago. The result? They now fill every top school and university in the country.
It's quite extraordinary, and people comment when they look at the HSC results. You just go down the names of the top students, and there's barely an Anglo-Saxon name there anymore. And the best schools, those who are most competitive entry, are just filled with Asians.
How hard do you see the parents pushing their kids?
Very often too hard. The greatest problem really is that Asians in general have scant regard for genetics as a factor of success. And so you do see very often the children simply get berated for not coming first because they say they haven't done enough work.
Do you think they fear failure?
I think, in an Asian family, there is such shame that's brought to bear by somebody who does fail, and that's a problem.
Yale University law professor Amy Chua was the one who lifted the lid on the secret world of Chinese parenting. In a best-selling book, she coined the phrase tiger mums to describe the extreme demands she and other Chinese mothers place on their children. What is a tiger mum?
Well, the way I'm using it, I think it's a mother who conveys very, very high expectations coupled with unconditional love. I think there's something about the culture that, encourages hard work, and there is a real premium on academics. There is a real emphasis on striving for excellence.
And that means sacrifice. Growing up, Amy's two daughters were forbidden sleepovers, playdates and television. Study and music practice always came first. And Amy set standards so high, some readers even accused her of cruelty. What about when they make you a homemade birthday card and you throw it back in their face?
They forgot about the birthday, so did my husband, and my daughters. They took a piece of paper, folded it in half, made a smiley face, and I looked at it and I said, Lulu, you know what? This isn't good enough. I want a better one. And I hope that's not the message.
But an A- was unacceptable in your household.
It is true. When my daughter comes home with a 96 out of 100, I will say, okay, good job, but can we check out the missing 4 points? Let's improve.
Did you ever come home from school with anything less than an A grade?
Oh yeah, it's happened.
What happened?
Nothing. It wasn't pretty, but it wasn't, I'm alive. So.
Amy's eldest daughter, Sophia, seems to have survived her tiger mum upbringing unscathed, but her piano still bears the scars of endless hours spent practicing.
Wow! So these are the teeth marks?
Those are the teeth marks.
So you actually gnawed on your piano?
Yeah, that happened. I was really frustrated, and I may or may not have taken it out on the piano here, so.
What did you think of Amy's parenting style?
Very rigid, and even I think to our standards, we found it has been very, very extreme.
So this time we have 3 weeks school holidays.
Chinese parents raising their children in Australia don't subscribe to some of Amy Chua's tough love tactics, but they do enforce strict rules of their own. Anytime Leanne and her friend Catherine spend away from their studies is monitored by their mums, Amelia and Joyce.
One of the big rules for Catherine is to prioritise. No TV or computer games until work is done.
Do you let them use Facebook?
I don't let her.
Where do we stand on sleepovers?
Sleep over at my place is okay, but no way for her to go out to sleep over.
If I was to ask the girls, would they say you were strict?
They might say that. My daughter might say that, but as parents, we are supposed to be warm and demanding. And that's how I see the parent role to be.
I'm not quite sure.
My parents aren't extreme, nor are they extremely lax. So the thing is, if I know I can get an A, then there's no reason why I shouldn't get an A, and therefore I try my best to get an A or higher.
You're pretty smart, aren't you?
Some could say that.
I reckon this is one of those questions. Mummy's not smarter than a 5th grader.
Joyce cut back her own work hours to ensure Catherine did well in entrance exams for the best high schools.
Okay, let me check the answer.
And do you have to do extra homework on top of what the teacher assigns?
Well, from my tutoring homework as well, and sometimes my mum assigns me homework as well.
Mum assigns homework?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty cruel.
Not that cool. It's not that much, but yeah.
I believe that children should be challenged, but should not be pressured. There is a difference in there, and once she comes home with a test, you can say, oh, 90% are all correct. 10% we've got cross there, so we know that, Catherine, you have a little bit extra learning to do.
Do you think you found a good balance with your parenting?
We would like to achieve that fine balance. Yeah, so from the academic perspective, we do encourage our children to try their best. But in the meanwhile, we also are taking time to allow the girls to having fun.
So what do you do for fun?
I like to read, I like to listen to music, mostly listen to music.
What about Justin Bieber?
No.
Oh, you're quite adamant about that.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been playing?
I don't know.
You don't know?
5 minutes.
Finding that balance between learning and leisure is a challenge for any parent. And it seems to be the great divide between East and West.
Maybe in some Western families, parents don't have high expectation of children, and parents are too soft.
Frankly, there are many aspects of Western parenting that I know horrify Asian parents. You know, how much time Western parents let their kids waste, how quickly they let them grow up, what they are allowed to do, and also how poorly in some ways they prepare them for the future.
So you're not quite so strict with the dogs?
Totally not strict. They can do anything.
Amy Chua may have mellowed these days, but she still believes Western parents get it wrong.
I think that Western parents right now worry much more about their children's psyche and their self-esteem. You know, they always want to say, that's okay, don't worry about it. Whereas I do think that Chinese parents or immigrant parents, you know, they assume strength rather than fragility. And there are a lot of good things to be said about that.
Okay, students that are here for maths, nice and quietly just walk to the classroom.
And coaching guru Ross Woofers couldn't agree more.
So is the Western style of parenting bringing up soft kids?
I think that's definitely true. You know, parents give in too easily. They don't say no often enough. They don't necessarily set good examples. I think there's too many Western parents who, I don't know, don't perhaps put the same amount of time into their children that the Asian parents do. I'd love to see a happy medium between Amy Chua and the general Australian Western method of parenting. Most definitely, I think somewhere between the two would be absolutely ideal.
After meeting Leanne, there's no doubt this little girl always had the potential for success. All that extra study has absolutely guaranteed it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I want to go into forensics. I found out that there was such thing as forensic engineering, and I've always been interested in science and mystery and sort of crime, but not on the bad side, on the good side obviously. And I thought the forensic engineering sounded really fun, so why not?
Would you say you're a typical 11-year-old?
Probably not, but mostly.
They were the original superbugs: mumps, measles, polio and rubella. Thanks to modern immunisation, we don't see these diseases much anymore, so most of us have no first-hand knowledge of how dangerous they can be. Maybe that's why so many parents are questioning whether vaccination is the right choice for their children. And once they tap into the bottomless pit of misinformation swirling around the internet, fears are fuelled, minds are made up, and they may just say no to the needle. Well, tonight you'll meet some of the self-appointed experts behind the anti-vaccine campaigns and some grieving parents who couldn't disagree with them more.
Yeah.
Perfect, big, handsome man. I think his mummy was a bit mad for him.
I think so.
This was baby Kayla Smith, just 5 weeks old. He'd just started to smile and his parents were besotted.
Love these birds.
They still can't comprehend, looking at this video, that he was dying before their eyes of whooping cough. So this is the most important bit. That's what parents should be looking for, parents of newborns. Is that what you're saying? Just that little cough?
Yeah, you wouldn't think anything of it.
Jay and Roslyn want people to know what happened to their son Kalis. He was too young to be fully immunised, leaving him vulnerable to the sort of disease which plagued our grandparents and is still among us.
He was given a death sentence.
Yeah.
Someone so young was given a death sentence.
But try telling that to the anti-vaccine lobbyists, and this is what happens.
I am walking out of this because this is a farce. But how about you put me in touch with those parents? I will ask them relevant questions to establish the whole medical history of these children, and then we shall see what they really died of.
At 76, Dr. Vera Scheibner is the voice of authority in the anti-vaccine movement in Australia and around the world.
It's ridiculous.
And so how many documents are in this room?
Well, it is more than 100,000 pages of medical papers.
For 26 years now, she's been writing prolifically about the dangers of vaccines.
It's a national treasure. Based on my extensive research of orthodox medical literature, I am totally against any vaccination.
Have you got anything good to say about vaccines?
No, because the immunity is achieved by going through the natural infectious diseases of childhood, such as measles, whooping cough, mumps, rubella.
So vaccines are dangerous and diseases are good?
Exactly.
Kalis was born in February this year, a little brother for 2-year-old Shayla. He only died 7 weeks ago, and his parents are still reeling from how quickly whooping cough claimed his life and how little doctors could do about it. On Tuesday, he's sent home with a cold, and on Friday, he's on life support.
Yeah, shock. Every mother's worst nightmare, I think.
And they had 15, 20 doctors around him, just scream and resus, and it was all on.
I think people are thinking this is a normal cold, like a bad cold. But it's not, it's a disease, you know. Look up the word disease in the dictionary, I think.
It's not so much the dictionary you need to consult, but the history books.
The recent paralysis epidemic in South Australia brought most of the affected children to the wards of the Adelaide Children's Hospital.
Vaccines have virtually wiped out polio, measles and mumps in Australia. They're so rare, today's doctors would struggle to diagnose them.
So if a little kid turns up with measles in the waiting room out there, it's a surprise.
That's right. And it's something that a lot of people just haven't seen.
And yet, half a century on, Professor Peter McIntyre from the Children's Hospital at Westmead still has to argue the benefits of parents giving their kids the jab.
We're not immunising to protect children against trivial diseases. We're immunising them to protect them against diseases which can have very serious impacts, and if we stop immunising, they can very quickly come back.
What are the risks if a parent chooses not to vaccinate a child?
As a parent, deciding not to immunise your child from the child's point of view is you playing Russian roulette with their life.
So tell me about these boys. Who's who?
Connor's 12. Sydney mum Meredith Collins has heard all those dire warnings about the importance of vaccinations, but she's not convinced. Her eldest son had an adverse reaction to his first needles, and she hasn't been back with the other two. Wouldn't you rather err on the side of safety, though?
I'm not willing to put my children or their health at risk with immunisations that I don't have any real evidence to say that they definitely work, when there are also inherent risks in immunisation.
While Meredith's not a member of any anti-vaccine networks, it's striking that their ideas have penetrated all the way through to her in suburban Australia.
I was concerned about the base of mercury and formaldehyde in immunisations.
You're worried about mercury in these injections, but mainstream medical research says there is no risk from that mercury. There's more mercury in a tuna sandwich.
Depending on who you're talking to. I mean, if it's a pharmaceutical company that's actually issuing the research, well then maybe, just maybe, they're releasing particular information to market that suits their purposes. I don't know.
So when you look at the mainstream medical research that says things like this, you're worried there is a conspiracy?
I'm not worried at all. I'm asking you the question, who funded that research? That's all I'm asking.
Initially, they just took kidneys of wild monkeys and minced them.
Working alongside Dr. Vera Scheibner is her friend Bronwyn Hancock. With a background in IT, Bronwyn's even set up a website to promote Dr. Scheibner's ideas, alongside her own lengthy exposés on the dangers of modern medicine. You write here that the body only catches a disease if it needs to. So all those polio and measles epidemics, Bronwyn, the kids, their bodies wanted to catch those diseases, did they?
There are benefits of diseases. Now, I say that with qualification because obviously diseases have to be well managed, and going through a disease is like us getting exercise. This is one of the reasons why it's good to get rubella as soon as possible so that you have immunity to it.
But what about the risk of rubella to pregnant women who can have babies suffering terrible birth defects?
Don't answer things that you don't know enough about, okay? Just don't answer them. You were drowning, so let's call spade a spade. You see? Yeah. She was drowning, yeah.
Why would she be drowning?
Because she hasn't got the extent of knowledge that I have.
If she hasn't got the extensive knowledge, why on earth is she writing these articles on the website?
Maybe you have a point there. Yes, that's right. Maybe you have a point there, okay?
So just for clarity, you're not a medical doctor?
I'm not a medical doctor, no. But I am a doctor of natural sciences.
Am I right in thinking that in fact your expertise is in studying microfossils, little fossils?
My expertise is in many areas. One of them was microscopic fossils.
But actually, just for the record, you have no formal medical training.
I wouldn't say that, because I did a course of nursing when I was young.
But do you believe you know more than most doctors?
Yes, I believe I know more than most doctors.
Vera's adamant that her qualifications were earned in this very room. During the quarter of a century, she's spent diligently analysing medical journals. For instance, in 1998, an explosive report from the British doctor Andrew Wakefield claimed there was a link between autism and the measles, mumps and rubella vaccine. And Vera, like many others, remains convinced.
Vaccination of any kind causes autism.
So only children who are vaccinated get autism?
That's right, yes.
That's a heck of a story.
It is a heck of a story, yes.
And that's just what it was, a story. Fiction, not fact. Last year, Dr Wakefield was struck off the medical register for falsifying his research. Not that Vera has got the message.
It was fraud. And yet, despite that flimsy evidence, once something gets out and there are people looking for answers, particularly with something nasty like autism, it'll just keep going.
Should the medical community be more candid about the risks of vaccines, both now and in the past, in order to overcome some of the community anxiety about giving kids the jab?
Absolutely. And believe me, if we were concerned about something not working, or particularly something that was actually causing harm, we'd be the first to put up our hands and say, well, let's stop it.
Such concerns about vaccines can unsettle a whole community. Here in parts of northern New South Wales, as many as 1 in 3 children is not immunised. And as the immunisation rates went down, the rates of disease here went up, particularly dangerous for any baby under 6 months old, as they are too young to be fully vaccinated.
This is Dana.
And so it was here in 2009 that little Dana McCaffrey was born, into the middle of a whooping cough epidemic.
Like a mum, grandmother and a cousin.
By the time the doctors worked out she was infected, it was too late.
And I have to live every day knowing that because I took Dana out as a newborn, someone breathed on her and she's dead.
Now David and Tony McCaffrey are taking no chances with their 4th child, Sarah. She won't leave the house until she's fully immunised. David's even off work as a teacher because 1 in 5 children at his school has tested positive for whooping cough.
Are you comfortable with me being this close to Sarah without a mask?
I am, because you've had the booster.
The whooping cough.
The whooping cough booster. Whereas Richard hasn't had the booster yet.
Our cameraman.
Yeah.
We lost a child to whooping cough, and we don't want to lose her.
Everyone's focusing on the deaths. What about the children that survive? It is a horrible disease. What it does, it breaks ribs, brain damage, scars their lungs can collapse, perforated lungs, pneumonia every year. They have a cold for the rest of their life, chronic asthma. This is what whooping cough does.
And how do you know they died from whooping cough?
These children went to hospital and the doctors there diagnosed them with whooping cough. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
But if the child was given hepatitis B at birth, it certainly suppressed its immune system and made it very susceptible to catching whooping cough from people around.
They're dead because their parents immunised them at birth against hepatitis B.
That's right, absolutely. Because vaccines are the single biggest cause of infant death. Those mothers have no knowledge to judge the case. They only listen to what doctors tell them. And of course, the doctors are only too happy to start blaming the disease instead of their vaccines.
Can I put it to you both that maybe not from malicious intent, that the two of you are involved in a conspiracy to cover up the plain fact that infants die an agonising death from whooping cough?
Absolutely not. And I am walking out of this because this is a farce. But how about you put me in touch with those parents? I will ask them relevant questions to establish the whole medical history of these children, and then we shall see what they really died of. And I don't accept any accusations from you or anybody else about me doing something wrong, because I'm not doing anything wrong.
People have said to you, we want proof that this is how your daughter died.
I watched my daughter over 5 days die the most agonising death, and I don't want any other parent to go through that.
And what do you say to them about proof?
My proof's in a cemetery.
For the Smiths, their grief is still raw. They have learned the hardest way
what our grandparents and great-grandparents knew, that childhood diseases can kill and there's still no cure, only prevention.
To see a child laying there from being perfectly healthy, just a little bit of a cold, to on full life support, knowing that he probably won't live, you won't get to touch him, you won't get to hear his cry, don't just smell him. To hear your baby cry, you don't, like, it's a beautiful thing. I just wish I could hear him cry again.
Meet the step-parents and their step-families. Welcome to the turmoil that can happen after the divorce, when two families become one. Back in the 70s, in the days of the Brady Bunch on TV, they were a novelty, a laugh a minute. These days, they're much more common. In the last 10 years, the number has doubled. 1 in 5 Australian children now lives in a step-family. And the laughs can be few and far between. It's no picnic. In fact, while many do manage to make a go of it, the majority fail. Carl Stefanovic reports on the highs and the lows, why it's not always one big happy family.
Yes, I want that one. Eat. You haven't had one.
Yes,
so
I did. I had
one.
Settle down.
Welcome to the newest battlefield of modern domestic life, the step family.
You're not asking Daddy after I've already said no. Put the Game Boy down.
Cohen, let's go.
Hand it over.
Rachel and Mark Tham face a daily challenge that's increasingly common in Australian homes, combining their two families into one.
That phone call cost $5.
Yeah.
You little weenie. You owe me $5.
Okay. So you are the evil stepmum.
Definitely.
You don't look evil.
Oh no, I am. Ask any of the kids.
Yeah, she was a bit like the evil stepmom, I guess, for a while.
The evil stepmum.
Yeah.
That's pretty full on.
Yeah. Yeah, none of us really liked her.
Did Brooke eat your breakfast or did you eat your breakfast?
It gets bloody hard sometimes. And yes, there was times, certainly when we first got together, that it was Rachel and I against the world.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
This is the story of Rachel, who had a daughter, Keelan.
It's the story.
And it's the story of Mark, who had 2 kids of his own, Cohen and Sarah.
Till the one day when the lady met this fellow.
10 years ago, Rachel and Mark met and fell in love. Together, they formed a family and had 2 kids of their own, Ashton and Brooke.
The Brady Bunch.
Back in the 70s, television offered us the picture-perfect step family, the Brady Bunch. Every conflict neatly resolved in a half-hour episode.
Effective immediately, we share. And share like everything. Bathrooms, tom-toms, whatever.
But these days, 1 in 5 Australian children grows up in a step family, and in the real world, things don't always run as smoothly as a sitcom.
Ow! And stop hitting me with the dirty fatty. Come on, I want to spend 5 minutes with Dad after I've got home.
It's never been happy families 100% of the time, but we have the best of the worst. We have great times and we have some pretty bad times.
Anything in the house that I find of Cohen's, I sort of crack open the door and shovel in because it's a nightmare.
Oh no. In the Tham household, Rachel's hard-line approach grates most on her 16-year-old stepson, Cohen.
I think technically that's the clean clothes pile because they've only been worn 4 or 5 times.
Conflict is constant. For one thing, they've reached complete stalemate over his messy room. Neither will touch it.
I wasn't really used to her telling me off and stuff as being like a parent. It was normally my mum that would tell me off, so we had a few arguments about that.
Disciplining a partner's children is the most contentious issue in step households.
What's that? Where'd you get that from?
I bought it with my money.
This stuff is crap. It'll bloody rot your insides.
And it's caused problems on both sides of this combined family.
I think it's more like the excuse that you're allergic to sugar because it makes you fat.
Rachel's daughter Keelan also resented being told what to do by Mark when he wasn't her real dad.
At the beginning, I was horrible. I was just awful, and I hated him so much, but, you know, I had to grow to like him.
It is a real minefield, isn't it? And initially it's tough.
It's certainly very challenging, and it comes with a lot of difficulties in the early stages.
Dr. Jan Nicholson from the Murdoch Children's Research Institute offers some grim realities for families like the Thams.
Yeah, I didn't get cut.
Studies reveal a third of these relationships will fail within the first 2 years, and overall, a staggering 60% will end in separation.
You don't like that stat, do you?
No.
Why don't you like it?
I think that a lot of the times we hear the bad stories about step families, and there are a lot of good stories out there. If you allow children the time to develop their relationships with the step parent, then yes, you can make it work, and you can come out with a really happy family that meets everyone's needs.
You can have the Brady Bunch.
No, most of us don't have an Alice.
We're no longer individuals, or it's his or hers. We're one big family now.
Let's come.
If you were beginning to think Mike and Carol Brady and their bunch were pure fantasy, meet Rowan and Carolyn McKaig, blissfully happy after 5 years together with their respective children.
Carolyn, have you ever been the evil stepmum?
No.
Come on.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Have you ever been the evil stepdad?
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
There's something seriously wrong with you two.
No. No, I think, look, we just get on well. We get on so well together, as a couple and also as a family.
Yeah, it's Alex's turn, so Pat, you get 2 shots.
There are 2 of his and 2 of hers. Rowan has 16-year-old twins, Alex and Pat. Carolyn has 2 boys, 16-year-old Dylan and 18-year-old Adrian. With 4 teenagers under the one roof, surely there's got to be drama.
For you, Alex, what's the toughest thing?
First thing was probably getting used to how people acted. Like, you didn't know how they would behave in the mornings or at night, or you had to sort of get used to their mood swings and that.
Their mood swings aren't too bad, though, are they?
No, I'm probably the one with the biggest mood swings, but...
I've got to have one of these rosters too. That's how organised you've got to be.
You do, absolutely.
Rowan and Carolyn make it look easy, but they work hard at keeping everyone happy.
Okay, who wants what?
Have a mild one.
In the kitchen, Carolyn will serve up 2 versions of the same meal to ensure both sides of the family get what they're used to. And Rowan has taken on far more than most real dads would dare.
All clear.
Teaching all 3 16-year-olds to drive. That's a lot of logbooks to fill in.
They've all got their learners.
Well done.
So there's always a fight to get into the front seat of the car.
Well done. What were your first thoughts about Rowan?
He didn't try and act like a dad or anything, so that's what I liked about that. You know, he wasn't trying to be a new dad.
Slow on the way down.
It's that hands-off approach that the experts recommend. Don't try to be a replacement mum or dad.
Last one, big one, yes. Well
Better
done.
to be a friend.
Come on, son. You can do it.
But even the best of step-parents can use a helping hand.
What I would like you to do now is all to get up and grab a pen and think of all the qualities the perfect step-parent in your mind should have.
You need to have lots of energy. So there's some running shoes there.
For 25 years, Step Families Australia has been teaching parents how to build new lives from broken homes.
Broad shoulders.
We agreed. No, you discipline your children, I'll discipline my children. Maybe with your own children you might be more direct and say, clean up your mess. I don't talk to Brad's children like that.
So do you think it's therapeutic for you all to come together like this?
And classes like these are growing all the time as more and more divorced parents opt for 50-50 parenting, equal shared custody. Rowan and Carolyn's kids spend half their time here and half with their other parent. it can be a difficult routine.
I think a lot of people don't actually realise how hard it is for the kids. I mean, as far as the adults go, we live in the house. We stay here all the time. The kids pretty much live out of suitcases.
Bye.
Probably the biggest hassle would be moving probably your life from one house to the other. But having a week at my mum's and a week at my dad's is probably like the fairest thing we could do.
Ash, you dropped your water.
The Thams also opted for a 50-50 arrangement with their former partners, a decision Rachel now regrets.
Who's going with Mum? All the psychological literature of the time in the 90s said, you know, it's a good arrangement for the children. It is a nightmare.
Brooke and Ashton, Rachel and Mark's own kids, are the only ones who live with them full time, and they reckon they get the best of both worlds.
I think I'm lucky because not many people get to have lots of brothers and sisters, and also baby rabbits.
No, not yet. You gotta wait till I'm ready. Does anyone else want to throw balls at me? Come on, Keelan.
Creating shared memories and common interests have proven to help step-families survive.
You got to it, but straight out.
The Thams' family passion for cricket brings them all together.
Over the top. Good girl, that's perfect. It's an arena where I can ask them to do something and I'm not, you know, the BITCH.
Even here, bonding for Rachel and Cohen isn't going to plan.
Cohen accidentally hits me with the ball all the time.
Oh, right.
Oh, it was my fault. I wasn't looking when he was bowling. It's like, I had my back to you. Oh.
At times, did you wish that she wasn't part of your life?
Yeah, a few times, but yeah, I got over that and figured, well, she's going to be there for the rest of my life, so might as well deal with it.
Okay, who wants chicken?
Me. It's one of the myths of step families that everyone will instantly love each other and live happily ever after. But even Rowan and Carolyn were mindful of the emotional challenges they were facing.
I thought, I have two of my own children and I love them very much. How could you ever provide another child that type of love and affection? But interesting enough, you do.
And do you love the boys?
Look, I do. I mean, it's they are part of my family now. I treat them as part of my family. If people ask me how many kids you've got, it's 4 kids.
What about me? It isn't fair.
I've had enough. Now I got
10 years on for Rachel and Mark, they may not be the Brady Bunch, but they are a family.
Well, she's not too proud to cry out loud.
For better or worse, they've stuck together, and Rachel may be surprised by just how far they've come.
I see her as like a second mum, because obviously she loves me and stuff, and I love her too and stuff. But
you do love her?
Oh, yeah, to a degree, yeah.
As much as you're prepared to admit?
Yeah.
On national television?
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you told her that?
Nah, probably wouldn't.
Do you think he doesn't love you?
Yeah, I guess so. I think he still thinks his life would be better if I'd never come into it.
What if I said to you that he told us that he does love you?
I'd say, did you get it on film?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, you've got me there. I'm very surprised. I guess maybe deep down, I always hoped. But, well, there you are. He's never told me.
Must feel nice.
Yeah, it does. It does.
There's nothing unusual about women having babies. Understandably, though, every mother-to-be feels unique. And here I'm speaking from personal experience. If all goes well, come October, I'll be a mum for the first time. Soon I'll have to make that decision, how I want my baby delivered. These days, 1 in 3 Australian babies are delivered in an operating theatre. Caesareans are fast becoming the norm. Right at the other end of the spectrum, some women have their babies at home with no medical intervention at all, not a doctor or a midwife in sight. So, natural or the knife? Tonight, the intimate stories of women who've already made that difficult choice. And I should mention, some viewers may find some scenes confronting. It may not look like it, but in a small lounge room in Queensland, Julie Heath has just gone into labour.
Watch your fingers, please. Don't tip it on the plastic.
She's chosen a rare home water birth for the delivery of her 4th child. And she's chosen to do it without help.
It still hurts, but it doesn't hurt.
There are no doctors, no midwives and no drugs. Just her husband, Ben.
Well, I'm just here to catch it, that's all. Yeah, come on, man.
1,000 kilometres away in a private Sydney hospital, Dr Michael Vandergrund and his team are preparing for their 2nd caesarean delivery for the morning.
Virginia, can we just have the bed down just a touch?
Back in Biloela, Julie and Ben are just moments away from experiencing the pleasure that goes with this pain.
Oh. Want me to grab it?
The contractions only started 2 hours ago. But this baby's in a hurry.
Very good. Very good. Oh, very good.
It's a girl.
In the Sydney operating theatre, it's even quicker.
There we go. Heads out.
In just 3 minutes, this little bub is pulled from Mummy's tummy.
There we go. Little boy.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
2 families at the most joyous point of their lives. 2 perfect babies, one delivered with medical intervention and one with none at all. A snapshot of completely different ways of birthing in Australia in 2008.
A woman can give birth if she was in the middle of a paddock by herself. She doesn't necessarily need someone else there with her.
I don't like the idea of, pushing something the size of a watermelon outside something the size of a golf ball. It just sounds awful and I didn't want any part of it.
Natural versus caesarean. If there's one issue that gets people talking, it's the best way to deliver your babies. With 1 in 3 Australian women now having their babies by caesarean, it's an emotional debate, especially when it comes to women choosing to go under the knife for no medical reason. For fans of natural birth, these women are giving up much more than they gain. For supporters of caesareans, many do it for convenience and to avoid the trauma and pain of a natural labour. Shush. 30-year-old Georgia Sheehan is a dentist with a passion for the piano and a mum to Patrick and Joseph. Very early on in her first pregnancy, with no medical complications, Georgia decided the pain of natural childbirth wasn't for her. Now tell me, is it a case? Are you just too posh to push?
I've heard that expression, and if I thought it would be good for my children, if I thought it would help them, for me to go through agony for hours and hours, I would happily do it. But maybe I am too posh to push, I don't know. Too scared to push, really. Now, look at this one. The man stuck on the mountain.
Georgia is part of a growing trend of women opting out of labour, giving Australia one of the highest caesarean rates in the world.
And what happened here?
And it's not just the pain. Georgia says too many things can go wrong with a natural delivery.
That's right. You can get a cervical prolapse, you can get tears. And so there's all those unpleasant things from the mother's point of view. But I was also terrified of things that can go wrong for the baby. You can have, shoulder dislocation. You can have the cord wrapped around the neck. At the end of the day, I wanted a child, not a childbirth.
Morning. But 37-year-old Di Baker was less concerned about the risks and more interested in convenience. She owns a baby boutique in Sydney's affluent Double Bay and fits the perfect current caesarean profile. High-earning career woman who likes order in her life. So there's not an overriding attitude of, there's no pushing down here, darling?
No.
There is, isn't there? Is there?
Look, I knew I never wanted to push. I knew before I ever met my husband. So it's girls plan for their perfect dream wedding. I planned for the perfect pregnancy. I'm going to get daddy.
And now Di has the perfect family. 5-year-old twins, Madison and Phoenix, and husband Fred. For Di, even having twins, there was no medical reason for a caesarean, and she has no regrets. And do you feel any less of an achiever because you didn't go through the natural birthing process?
No, not at all. I admire women who do the push. I must say that. I have great admiration for you. But no, not at all.
With 4 kids, 36-year-old Tara Darlington knows what it's like to push. But she's also felt the surgeon's knife and after experiencing her caesarean, supports natural childbirth even more.
Caesarean's a major abdominal surgery. So if I'm a perfectly healthy mother, perfectly healthy baby, personally I wouldn't add in something that's going to create a risk for convenience.
Tara believes giving birth is such a natural part of life, she wants to share it with the world in all its confronting glory. Making a film of one of her deliveries.
I felt like I could do anything after that, you know. It's like, well done, you know, I've just done this amazing, you know, just gone through this amazing experience that is quite transforming.
Can you swing yourself?
But with her second child, Akira, Tara was forced to have a caesarean because of a medical emergency.
Like, it was much harder bonding. I mean, I was, you know, laid up in hospital for longer. It was harder to carry him. And so if it saved your life, what can you say? But if it wasn't necessary, and I wouldn't choose that, I wouldn't choose it.
This is an elective caesarean. We're not expecting a low placenta or any unexpected bleeding.
So the elective surgeries you do, Michael, what's the main reason?
Most of it is maternal choice. It's maternal request.
In just 4 years, obstetrician Michael Vandergrund has seen Caesar rates jump from 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 deliveries. He's done many of them and knows the risks.
In there, the baby will be just underneath there.
You tend to lose a little bit more blood with a caesarean section birth compared to a straightforward normal delivery. Your risk of infection, a wound infection or a urinary tract infection is higher, but all of those things, even though I've named them, are significantly low in my experience in a straightforward elective caesarean section.
Oh, is everything all right?
Yeah, just...
And for the babies, some delivered by caesarean need special care to help with their breathing. This little boy, just 5 minutes old, is no exception.
That's right. A few big breaths, that'll help.
But paediatrician Dr. Garth Leslie isn't too worried. Is that a consequence of having a caesarean, or do you see the same in natural deliveries?
You see the same in natural deliveries, but it's a bit more common after a caesarean because they haven't had their lungs squeezed down through the pelvis during the labour process.
Desperate for a brother.
For some, there's too much medical intervention. When I first met 27-year-old Julie Heath, a mum to 3 girls, she was getting close to giving birth to her 4th child. And this one will be born at home. Julie is bucking the trend of caesareans by having this baby with no assistance.
There you kids.
But you know, it was only 100 years ago that 1 in 50 women died in childbirth, and lots of babies died too.
Obviously the caesarean is now in and it saves a lot of babies, but I think it's a bit overused.
Home is Billawheeler in country Queensland. And at the local hospital, there are no water births, which is what Julie really wants this time to manage the pain. I'm picturing this with contractions. This is not a good scene.
My contractions are good.
So Julie turned to the internet to buy a do-it-yourself birthing bath for her do-it-yourself birth at home. It's husband Ben's job to blow the thing up and help Julie get through the birth.
I'm not really nervous about it. You know, it's just another labour, but we're doing it at home. So.
But the responsibility kind of falls on your shoulders this time.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we need to go back to the stage where women were trusted to give birth, because that's what their bodies are naturally designed to do.
There are risks. The baby could be born with the cord wrapped around its neck, but with the hospital literally a minute and a half away, Julie is unfazed.
Feel good?
So in your view, to experience a water birth, which is what you really want, is worth the possible risk to your baby?
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. Well, I don't think there will be a huge risk.
Have you had many reactions where people have said, what? You are doing what?
Well, I haven't told a lot of people because I don't want to hear that reaction.
All right, you want me to rub you back?
When Julie's baby decides to arrive, it's in the middle of the night, and the delivery is calm and dignified.
Very good. Very good. Oh, very good.
It's a girl.
Another bloody girl. Another bloody girl.
Oh, well.
The baby girl seems healthy. But there are anxious moments. Julie is worried by her own bleeding and calls for an ambulance. While the blood loss is not unusual, they decide to take her and the baby to hospital for a checkup. But sometimes it can be so much worse.
Home births, when they go great, are great, but when home births go wrong and you don't have backup, it can be a disaster.
And you're left to clean up the mess?
Oh, yes.
But Dr. Vandergren believes in most cases, vaginal births and elective caesareans are equally safe. While he prefers to deliver babies normally, he thinks Caesars should always be available.
I think a woman has the right for choice, and I think in 2008, the safety of that as an alternative to a vaginal birth or a normal delivery is still, it's on par with it. I think women should still have that as an option.
You're purchasing for yourself or for a girlfriend?
And Di Baker is certainly happy with her caesarean choice. She's had no trouble bonding with her kids and believes her body's in better shape for it.
Just in order to keep everything intact, I wanted to have a great sex life. I wanted to enjoy intimacy with my husband and have total fulfilment.
So when you say keeping everything intact, what do you mean exactly?
It's like the unspoken myth. Women don't like to talk about it. Things certainly have to open up for a baby to pass through, and things don't necessarily remain intact down below.
She's going to have a major operation to protect what she thinks is going to affect her sex life, which may not. And
does natural childbirth affect your sex life?
It hasn't affected mine. I've got 4 kids.
And now, so do Ben and Julie Heath. So you're going to introduce me to your beautiful daughter?
This is Amelia Isabel Heath.
She's beautiful, isn't she? Just 14 hours old, their baby daughter is perfect.
She's a little chubber.
No matter their choices, all these women got what they wanted. Beautiful, healthy babies and an experience, whether through caesarean or natural delivery, that is all their own. Does anything beat the experience you've just had?
No. It's empowering. I can do something and I can do it well. I'm born to have babies, I think.
Once upon a time, kids couldn't wait to get away from the oldies, but not anymore. Now, more than a third of 20-somethings in Australia are still living with mum and dad. Or to be really tough, still sponging, because most pay little or no rent. All up, 500,000 over 55s now have grown-up children living with them. That's an increase of 50,000 in the last 2 years. Some kids just never leave. Others become boomerangs. They move out, then before you know it, they're back again. But this crowded house syndrome isn't all the kids' fault. Often it's the clinging oldies who just can't let go. It's always a full house at the Rogers Wilsons. Meet the parents, Peter and Susie. Now meet the children. There's 28-year-old Lucy, 30-year-old Joe, and 25-year-old Tim. Oh, and that's Sally, Tim's girlfriend. She's part of the family too.
Here's to having a bloody giggle about it all.
The kids have grown up, but they haven't moved out. And that's how Mum and Dad like it.
It's a family home, and they're part of the family, and they will always be welcome here. There's a fair element of craziness, and that's part. I mean, we love having the kids. It's fun. We enjoy it.
I don't want that in my kitchen. Get rid of it.
Over at the Galley household, things aren't going quite so smoothly.
It's not your kitchen, it's my kitchen. See? Maggie's kitchen.
I'll fill it up with food then.
Yeah, and who's going to pay for that? You me again.
Well, it's your kitchen.
22-year-old David still lives at home with his girlfriend Roxanne. And Mum Marg's not happy.
There isn't any. Oh, we have 2 eggs. Is that what we're going to have for dinner?
Yeah.
What's the plan? When do you want them out?
I want them out now, but that's not going to happen. So I'm giving them at least another year and we'll see how it goes. Don't overcook them, I want them nice. And flatten those burger things.
The heat's on at the Galleys. And while Marg's cooking up ways to get the kids out, surprisingly, she's in the minority.
You know how to cook them then?
Because Dad squashed them, you told him
It's estimated more than 60% of parents with adult children at home don't want them to move out. It's a social trend that's transforming family life around the country.
I mean, in a casserole like this.
Susie's in no hurry for an empty nest. Tim, Joe and Lucy can stay as long as they like. Eldest daughter Jo is a classic boomerang kid, moving in and out of the family home for the past 10 years. She's back this time to try and start a new career. Did you ever think you would be home at 30 years of age?
Not in a pink fit of Fridays. No, I don't know what I ever thought I'd be doing when I turned 30, and here I am 30 and single, no babies, living with my parents. How tragic.
The baby of the family, Tim, is an apprentice builder. He's saving for his first house.
Obviously, you grow up and you want to move on, but I want to be ready. I want to have the cash in the bank to make it happen right, so I don't have to struggle.
I should have got this nice little slip of Joey's out.
Cool, take your
Flush that around.
Lucy doesn't want to struggle either. She's a school teacher and prefers to live in comfort while she pays off some debts.
Push comes to shove, if you say, I'm still at home with Mum and Dad, it's always that little bit sad, but it's also always that little bit smart.
More than a third of adult children in their 20s are now living at home in their childhood bedrooms, and every year that figure keeps rising. High rental costs, university fees, lack of commitment are some of the reasons for this new social phenomenon. The majority are not paying any board, or if they do, it's only a token amount.
None of us pay board. I genuinely think Mum and Dad enjoy having us around, and I don't know if we've ever even discussed board.
Sounds like you've got a great deal.
It's quite peachy, isn't it?
Have you heard of the phrase kippers? Kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings.
No, but I like it. It's okay, they're kippers, but in fact...
But they're not in our pockets.
That could be my new favourite dish, kippers.
Yeah, they still happen to be home, that's fine. It doesn't really make any difference. I mean, it's their money too.
It's sensible and it saves money, but there just comes an age when it's just weird and wrong and it's got to stop.
Yeah, it's El Prior.
Of course, some adult children can't wait to leave home. 27-year-old journalist Lisa Pryor just doesn't understand why someone her age would want to live with their parents. But she can understand why parents would want to live with their kids.
It's about having an active, vibrant household where you are in touch with what young people are up to these days. You know what music's in the top 40.
So we're talking about the baby boomers who are trying to stave off old age and remain connected to their youth.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it can be really hard if you have spent 20 years raising your kids to try and invent a new life for yourself as a empty nester.
No, I paid €20 and I could have got one for 10.
What is it, $40?
Marg and John Galley can't wait to be empty nesters.
This was your order.
They recently ran away from home for a romantic holiday in Europe.
We're skiers, definitely, aren't we, mate? 100% skiers. Spending the kids' inheritance. Going at it as hard as we can. I spoiled you, girlie. Look what I got you.
Like all parents, Marg and John want to give David and his girlfriend Roxanne a good start in life. But they also want their space back.
It's not that we hate having the kids here, it's just that we think that it would be good if they could get out and to get their own house and that.
Basically, we don't have the freedoms that we had as just a couple because we're still doing the parent thing. And I feel like I've done that time in my life and I want to move on. And before we know it, we're going to have missed that stage in our lives because they'll have kids and we'll be doing the grandmother thing. But seriously, I'm thinking of moving interstate when that happens. Rocky and David, house by themselves. Me and John, a house by themselves. Yay!
I know you're not that old, but what is the attraction of still being at home at 22?
It's easier. It's obviously easier, cheaper. Cheaper's probably the whole reason, really. I mean, if I could afford to move out of home, I would. Simple as that. Most of our mates that rent houses, they're all qualified and all that, and they all earn $1,000 a week, and it's easy.
David is on an apprentice carpenter's wage. Marg does ask him to pay board, but that's proving to be more trouble than it's worth.
I ask them to pay $20 each a week, but I don't very often see it. So I started a tab, and he's up to about, $4,000.
But why are you letting that happen?
Because I can't stand the arguments. You wait till you have kids, they wear you down.
Why do you think more and more older kids are staying at home?
They're not getting married till later in life now where, you know...
They don't need to get married. What do they want to get married for?
John and Marg married young to satisfy their conservative parents. She was only 19 and he was just 22.
He wouldn't have dared hold my hand in our lounge room in case my father came in, would you?
No.
He was really scared of my dad.
Which brings us to that touchy subject and how times have changed. Roxanne and David can live here in the family home as if they were man and wife.
Sex under your mum and dad's roof?
Not really a problem.
So how would it go if your folks said no more?
Maybe indifferent, I guess. We probably would have had no choice and moved out. But she's a good mum, she lets us pretty much do what we want, so...
It's this liberal attitude that perhaps more than anything else is encouraging grown-up kids to stay at home. In the Rogers-Wilson household, there's sleepovers happening too. Tim's girlfriend Sally is welcome to stay overnight as often as she wants.
You deserve it.
So, money's a big part of it.
Yeah.
What about the sex?
The sex?
Living under your mum and dad's roof and you've got a girlfriend.
Peter. Peter, you're stepping over the line. Peter, put your manners back in.
I've heard that before.
Oh, I've heard that before too.
But with, parents often say, yeah, you can live at home, but there won't be any sex under our roof.
Oh, crikey. No problems with the sex under this roof. Mum and Dad are pretty relaxed. I mean, I'm 25. It'd be trouble, wouldn't it, if you weren't allowed to?
I wonder how good the sex is that you're having if you can have it in the room next to your parents.
Things up a bit.
Lisa Pryor has never had that problem. She moved out of home long ago, at 18. and last year married comedian Julian Morrow.
Thanks. Cheers. Cool. We're going to get ribbed so badly.
Lisa believes that setting up her own home has taught her basic life skills. Skills the stay-at-homes just aren't learning.
So what is this doing to these adult kids, if you like?
Well, I think it is potentially creating a generation of screwed up 20-somethings that might have a postgraduate degree but not really understand how to do the washing, or they've travelled all over the world but they can't manage to make it up to the shops to buy some milk.
I left you $300 for food, and what do we have left?
We've been eating for 3 weeks.
Back from holidays and back to reality. In fairness, David and Roxanne have kept the house clean, but the fridge is empty and Marg knows she's the one who'll have to pay to fill it up again.
We had steaks, tuna mornay, oysters. We live like kings for 3 weeks.
Marg loves a good argument, but it's all done with a sense of fun.
We're keeping you young. If we weren't here, you'd go from 40 odd straight up to 80.
I could have 10 facelifts in the cost that you're costing me to stay young, boy.
Are they compromising your retirement? I mean, at this stage, you should be building your nest egg for you guys.
Well, they are, basically, if you look at it that way. Yeah, they are. We're sacrificing for them, but that's what you do for your kids. Because we love them.
Could I please have one of these AG combo loaves? Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Could I have some of those, please?
The cost of running a house with 5 adult mouths to feed is eating into Susie's nest egg too.
You've got 3 at home too.
4, make it 4. My mother-in-law as well.
Oh my God, at least I haven't got my mother-in-law. I'm coming back.
There's the power and phone bills to pay, and in a family that enjoys a drink together, an endless supply of wine and beer.
Winter king size.
Even the laundry is part of the service.
Anybody got any more whitewashing?
No, we're cool, Suze.
Now, I can really understand why these kids don't want to leave home.
What about cooking and cleaning?
Cooking, of course, yeah, cooking and cleaning. I'm taking on the cleaning role now, though. Trying to earn a bit more money. Mum might, pay me a little bit to do some cleaning, but...
I think you've got the deal of the century. Your mum will pay you to clean and you don't pay board.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good deal. It's a cracker.
Remember when you and I were dating? We still had fun, but we didn't, sponge off our parents and...
It might be a great deal for the kids, but for couples like Marg and John, there's more to life than simply being parents. And they just can't wait to be home alone.
I want my life back. I want to be just me and hubby again and make love in my lounge room if I want to and come naked to my fridge to get a drink, which I haven't been able to do for 23 years.
Well, it would seem there's nothing in the fridge to get anyway.
No, that's right.
Now let's go down on the boundary, girls, and get right into this, eh?
So, welcome to the future.
Ooh!
Plenty of empty fridges, but not too many empty nests.
Me and Rox are buying a house.
When? Next week?
Is it simply that the baby boomers don't want to grow old, or that their kids don't want to grow up? As the generation gap closes, more and more children are deciding there's no place like home.
I hope you had the time of your life.
I certainly am keen to be a grown-up, but I also love hanging out here and chatting and having a few bottles of red and, solving the world's energy crisis is good fun.
When do you think you will move out?
I'd like to say soon, but I just don't know.
They care for you. Will you care for them in their old age?
Oh, God, yes. I think that's my job.
Would you let them move into your house?
Sure.
Mothers breastfeeding 5-year-olds. I have to admit, it doesn't look quite right. Now, this is not some fringe new age fad. These people are deadly serious, parents with very firm ideas about how we should bring up our kids. Firstly, you have to be there, attached to your child, 24 hours a day. No school, no discipline, and definitely no cots, prams, dummies, or even nappies. They all break the mother-baby bond. And for some, breastfeeding on demand, regardless of age, is perfectly okay. Now, they're confident all this will produce independent, free-thinking kids. But ask their critics and they say spoilt brats are more likely. Without wishing to put you off your dinner, it's lunchtime for the Cole family.
It's difficult, isn't it, when it doesn't look like there's enough room on my knees for you two.
And Liz doesn't just breastfeed her 2-year-old Catherine.
A baby? Is this just because you've been sitting watching Catherine have booby? Put the idea into your head.
Eleanor is also hungry. If you're thinking she's a little old to still be breastfeeding, well, she is 5.
She is able to have what should be every child's birthright, that they should be allowed to feed. It should be the norm that children feed up until the age of, say, 5.
Can you wait just a second while Catherine has hers?
With 3 children, Liz Cole has been breastfeeding non-stop for 7 years, wherever and whenever her children demand it.
Have you had this one already?
Yes, but I want it again.
2 seconds. And then I've got to go and make some lunch.
I do notice the fact that Liz has her tits out, and it's very rarely for me these days, so I just try and stand in queue and pretend to be one of the girls, but she never gets fooled by that. Lop the bits off
British
for
couple
me.
Gary and Liz Cole are part of a growing worldwide movement. It's called attachment parenting. And they've given up their jobs, given up everything, to spend 24 hours a day with their children.
Modern life is very adult-focused, and it's not child-focused on the whole, and I think we are doing our children in this country certainly a lot of damage.
Children are always seen as an accessory. You know, you have a couple of kids, a couple of Gucci handbags, and then people wonder why they have problems with their children.
Dad, you forgot the roof.
You do have to be in touch with that child in order to parent it effectively.
Attachment parenting is all about putting the child first, responding to its needs. And according to this controversial philosophy, all the child needs is you.
Where to start? There are just so many things that if you're available to your child, they're not going to need these things.
American devotee and mum to 2, Krista Cornish-Scott, condemns these mod cons as merely a mother substitute and a barrier to physical contact with your child.
All of these little dummies, you know, it's replacing your breast.
As for prams and bouncers, they're the ideal gift for the lazy parent. The good parent carries their child everywhere.
Oh, these are my favorite. We kind of call these neglectomatics. So easy to just put the baby in one of those things and just forget about them.
And cots aren't common sense, they're a curse.
As far as I'm concerned, these are really just cages for babies. Little jail. I imagine them ringing their tin cup along the bars. Let me out, please. I want to be next to my mom.
Give a gentle push in between.
Following their philosophy, attachment parenting starts before their child is even born. According to Krista, one of the greatest threats to a child is medical intervention during pregnancy. So in her world, that means no ultrasound, no hospitals and no doctors. It goes without saying the birth should happen at home, unless there's an emergency.
It's interesting to me that veterinarians and zoologists understand exactly what happens if you interfere with the birth. If you have a bunch of observers sitting around watching an animal give birth, that mother may not give birth, or it may be very difficult, or she may do strange things afterwards, like try to eat the baby or ignore the baby or do weird things. We're doing the same thing to women, and that is having profound, profound effects.
Should we put these ones away? Where does that one go? It goes on the floor.
In Australia too, attachment parenting has many supporters. Sydney mum Janet Fraser runs the Home Birth Network and practices the techniques on 3-year-old Connor and 3-month-old Isabel.
It's not that I'm raising a child, I'm caretaking a future adult. So I raise my children with respect and with empathy that's appropriate to them as, you know, their age and development stages continue.
In this household, that means Connor tells mum when he wants to stop breastfeeding, which he did 6 months ago.
He'd clearly developed other tools for dealing with, you know, emotional issues, and he just didn't need the booby anymore, so he doesn't have the booby anymore.
When do you think you'll stop having booby?
Never.
I just wonder, when you see, 5-year-olds, for instance, still breastfeeding, I wonder how much that that is about the child and how much that is about the mum?
Well, you can't force a child to breastfeed, can you? Trust me, having a 5-year-old hanging off you is not something you do for your own pleasure. It's when people have this very warped idea about breastfeeding. Just because it involves breasts doesn't mean it's an erotic activity.
Well, I wasn't suggesting erotic. What I was suggesting was that perhaps mum doesn't want to see their baby grow into a child and she doesn't want that bond to be broken.
Well, like I said, you can't force feed a child. You can't force them on the boob. So, no. No, it's a myth.
Can you put your head on the pillow?
And the parenting philosophy extends to the bedroom. When it's time for Connor to go to sleep, his bed is the one he shares with his baby sister and mum. Dad is relegated to another room. It's called co-sleeping, and it's a common tool of attachment parents. And how long do you expect that to go on for?
Till the kids move out of the bed.
And when's that
They
going
no
to
longer need me. Are you going to give Horsey a cuddle? Some Horsey cuddles? Wait! No, I think he'd really like some privacy. Can we have some privacy?
Would you ever make the decision for your children about when it's the right time to move into their own beds, into their own rooms?
Well, that's like deciding for someone else that they're hungry. I can't do that.
Well, excuse me for prying, but how do you make babies with this sort of arrangement?
Do you only have sex in a bed? No, we have 2 adult beds going.
It means the child is being elevated almost to the role of a partner.
Dr. John Irvine is a child psychologist who thinks it's great parents want to spend more time with their kids, but he believes attachment parenting could risk smothering the child's development.
In a way, they're being socially abused. And it's a strong term, but I feel very strongly and I've got the evidence here in the clinic, because I see the kids.
So for those parents who have spent 24 hours a day caring for and loving their children, in some cases they've hurt their kids?
Well, I believe so. And I would put it up to these people to say, show me, talk to me in 5 years, and I think that you will be saying that these kids have social adjustment problems.
For most attachment parents, like Gary and Liz Cole, taking their cues from the kids is what parenting is all about.
It really helps with the bonding because she knows that I'm available to her whenever she needs me. I can calm her there and then. You know, if she needs me, she's got me on tap.
And Liz plans to be on tap for a long time yet. She and Gary have boycotted mainstream education for homeschooling. They say to raise independent and creative children.
Why would we trust someone else to teach our kids when we don't know who they are, what they believe, how they're going to treat our children? Why should I rely on schools when I know I can do the job myself and better?
I don't know that these kids are being prepared for the world that they're going to be living in, and as such I feel, that the parents, I hate to say it, but are being negligent. And that's the last word you'd like to hear, but they're being socially negligent.
For this attachment parent, even nappies are out. Instead, Krista Cornish-Scott does this 30 times a day. She even has her own label for it. Elimination communication, where the look on your child's face tells you when they want to do a wee or a poo.
Pee-pees. And it's very cute because they'll just be kind of sitting there and playing, or they'll be in the sling and all of a sudden they'll just kind of go, just like a little body wiggle, like, oh, something's coming, and that will give us a warning, and we can run them to the potty, and then they'll usually poop after that.
But with a bare bum 9-month-old running around, there are plenty of little accidents.
You want pee-pee. You want pee-pee on the floor. Next time you can go pee-pee on the potty. Yay, you pooped on the floor.
Are you scared? Are you feeling scared?
At 3, Connor is acting his age and, like all toddlers, has good and bad days. Through it all, Mum's approach is what she calls gentle discipline.
Oh, honey, you're so sad and cross. Maybe we
For instance, out in the park when he started screaming, does any part of you want to say, stop screaming?
He's not going to do it just because I say, would you please stop screaming?
Why not?
Because he's nearly 3 and he has no empathy.
What about respect? Mum's told me to stop, so I should.
Well, I don't see myself as necessarily the boss of his emotional space.
I've seen these kids throw enormous tantrums, and all the parent tries to do is divert whatever. There is no. There are no boundaries. And it's if it's a nasty word. But children, how you build resilient kids is you're teaching them to bungee jump through life's pitfalls. You've got to cope with the good, the bad and the ugly, and you learn you can. And it's not the end of the world if someone says no to you.
Would you ever smack your children?
No, don't smack my husband. Why would I smack my kids?
Would you ever yell at them?
I yell. Yeah, I lose my cool. Everyone loses their cool. And if I lose my cool, I try to use that as a learning and a teaching opportunity to say to Connor, I'm really sorry, honey. I was really grumpy then. I shouldn't have shouted at you and I'm sorry. I need to go to him. Excuse me.
Eleanor, get off the table.
Off the table. 1, 2...
Catherine.
Back in the UK with the Cole family, the approach to discipline is the same.
I think one of the worst things you can tell a child is to respect their elders. Because their elders have got to earn that respect before they get it.
You're an idiot.
Eleanor, get off the
People
table.
would describe them as spoilt brats. And I'll tell you something else that I've noticed with these kids. Very few of them feel good about life. The jaw's down because they've learnt the more that they sort of are negative or down, then the more attention they get. And so because they haven't got any boundaries to make them feel secure, so they present as very sad and very spoiled. And that to me is sad.
Put a little bit of milk on there, shall we? Eh? And then it won't be itchy.
In this family, Mum doesn't just make the meals, she also provides the medicine for everyone. They use her breast milk as a cure-all.
It doesn't have to be babies, it could be adults as well. It's fantastic for conjunctivitis in babies, adults, older children, and it really works. You know, it's not just an old wives' tale.
Liz just, knocks me down to the floor and positions herself over me and squeezes a bit of milk into my eye, and it gives almost immediate relief.
Have a kiss.
There is no doubt these parents are driven by love and a desire to do everything right by their children. But according to Dr. John Irvine, perhaps a little less obsession and a little more common sense might make the path to adulthood a little easier for everyone.
If you're going to be happy, you have to learn what the rules of society are. So they need rules, they need routines, they need boundaries, that all makes them feel good.
They might deny it, they might feel guilty, but most mums and dads do it. That's a fact. A national survey has just revealed 3 out of 4 Australian parents still smack their kids to keep them in line. And it's come as a real shock to child welfare agencies. So much so, they want the government to ban physical punishment altogether. Now, such bans aren't new. They already exist in more than a dozen countries around the world. But they sure are controversial. As Peter Harvey reports, there's no way some parents will stop smacking. They're never going to spare the rod and spoil their child.
Keep your legs forward. You've got to be brave parents to admit that you smack your child.
A little bit of a whack. It doesn't hurt. Didn't hurt me when I was young, so...
Angela Davis is a 48-year-old. Public opinion on smacking is passionate and it's divided. So let me lay my cards on the table. My wife and I took a conscious decision not to smack our kids, but a very recent public opinion survey showed that we're very much in the minority. 3 out of 4 Australian parents do believe in smacking, and I can understand that as well.
I do agree in smacking them on the bottom. That's about it.
Some people probably take it too far, but I think some sort of discipline is needed. I was, so didn't do me any harm.
If you smack a child, then it just teaches them that's the way you solve problems.
Sometimes if they're in danger because they're running out on the road or something, and they don't listen, and you've got to get the message through.
disgusting.
Why?
It's obvious to see the impact on the children. It'd be trite to say we're not leaving marks, not bruising, not breaking bones. The emotional and psychological impact on the kids is obvious.
Adam Blakester runs child protection agency NAPCAN. He says smacking can never be justified because it breaks the bond of trust between a child and their parent.
It goes on in the middle of what should be a safe, secure, trusting, loving relationship, except in the middle of that, this happens. It totally breaks that trust, breaks the respect, and where are kids left with then?
I'm a vigilant child. I don't want to smack, but I do. Liam?
Robin West is typical of many parents. She uses smacking to discipline her two kids, Ty and Liam, but afterwards feels terrible guilt.
You hop in. Okay. If I have to smack Liam on the hand, he'll put his hand out. He won't stop crying unless you give his hand a kiss. So it defeats the purpose of... It does, yeah. So I feel that if I feel guilty about it, then it's not good. Then it can't be right for me.
Their knuckles are so sore they can't write and do their homework anymore. We need to be lifting the bar of what we expect from ourselves and how we raise children.
Shut up!
Laws on smacking vary widely. 15 countries around the world have banned it completely. New Zealand's considering the move, and there are calls for Australia to follow suit. Right now, parents are able... 70% of Australian families say it is permissible.
Yeah, it's frightful. It's frightful, particularly because we know that it doesn't work. There's one debate which is, should smacking be illegal or not? There's another debate, which is the one I'd like to have, which is, it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. Let's get on with the job of educating ourselves about how to discipline kids in ways that actually work.
Smacking doesn't need to be part of this relationship. He will listen to you. He just needs changing.
Sometimes it will work if I can just deal with him immediately.
Robin West is also keen to break the cycle of smacking. She's come to counsellor Gail Dickens to learn alternative ways of discipline.
I feel that if I lead by example by not smacking, then hopefully they'll be able to cooperate without doing it as well.
You've realised not to role model hitting for the children or not to hit them, because that is showing that it's acceptable and that it's quite okay for them to hit each other or to hit someone else.
Fantastic. I don't want them to think or grow up thinking that that's how you control a situation. I don't want them lashing out at each other. I don't want them lashing out at kids at school.
And it didn't do me any harm, is that they're deluding themselves and not recognising the impact that that caused on themselves. And that without them being able to do that, psychologically they won't heal, they won't get over it. If we can ensure that kids grow up well and safe and are not harmed along the way, the chances of them playing positive parts in our society are good. The chances of them being unemployed, criminal, mentally unwell are far, far less.
Do to them.
Ow! So you're gonna hit me!
It's no secret kids can be little terrors. They can turn the joys of parenthood into absolute misery. In fact, 1 in 3 Australian parents have given up. They say they can't cope with their children, can't keep them under control. Parents are so desperate they'll try anything. No wonder the super nanny's such a hit. But that's reality television, if only real life could be that easy. As you'll see, it's not just the kids who are throwing tantrums these days. Now everyone's squabbling in the toddler taming business. It doesn't get much worse than this.
Sit there and
Children terrorising families.
Jesus Christ, Angus!
Swearing. Spitting. These are kids completely out of control. And parents are beyond despair.
I've dealt with this boy all week. You ain't tried to sort him out once.
Shut up. Annie, can you just calm down, love?
This is a story about families in crisis, parents who can't cope anymore.
Shut up, you little shit.
The family is in chaos. Discipline has disappeared, and life with the kids has become a living hell.
Hell, forget this. Just forget the whole thing. I'm too depressed today. I can't do it.
When I was growing up, discipline was pretty simple. A whack on the backside or whipping out the wooden spoon really didn't raise an eyebrow. But now, that's considered unacceptable. And today's parents who were brought up with those rules are confused about just what to do when their kids are out of control.
You need to go and get dressed right now. You are not doing the right thing. Said after school.
Sometimes I can feel myself thinking about, okay, I'm going to go home to a war zone and trying to mentally prepare myself for it, because as soon as I walk through that door, there's going to be like World War III in the house.
Josh, look, I asked you twice. I've asked you
Wayne
to
and
come
Linda
outside.
Donnelly have triple trouble. They're raising baby Sophie, 4-year-old Georgia, and big brother Joshua. He's 7.
Well, why are you doing it if you know?
Their kids aren't the worst in the world, but most parents will identify with their behaviour.
If you don't stop this, you won't be
Often
getting
uncooperative.
Look at me, please, when I'm talking. Joshua.
And too often argumentative.
I want you to come outside.
Why do you think it's so tough being parents in this day and age?
Because we're just so busy. You know, you don't have time to focus on the kids all the time and, you know, spending time with them because you've got work, you've got activities after school. It's just so busy.
We're running out of time now. Shoes on. Go, go, go.
The Donnellys are typical of many Australian families.
No TV in the morning, okay?
Like 60% of all couples with kids, Wayne and Linda both have jobs.
Just tidy up, okay?
At work, they're in control. But at home, they struggle to maintain order.
Get your bag out, brush teeth, wash the face.
And it's wearing them out.
I just get sick and tired of the whole thing. Like the constant argument.
Yeah.
You know, with just getting the simple task done, you know, and the dissatisfaction. Just get so tired. I just want to, at the end of the night, just want to fall down in a heap and think, you know, what have we created?
In Australia, perhaps more than any other country, we believe that a woman's place is in the home.
It used to be so simple.
All over these suburbs fly the white flags of domestic surrender.
Dad went off to work, Mum stayed at home and looked after the kids. That was then. More often, this is now. The old rules no longer apply. Corporal punishment is a no-no, and gone are the days of the extended family, where grandparents or relatives could quickly lend a hand. Families are feeling isolated, but the truth is, they're not alone.
I think we have a significant public health issue. When you've got nearly a third of the parenting population saying that they're experiencing significant difficulties with their children, we have to take this seriously. Probably the main focus of today's activity is to really look at the question of where do behaviour problems come from.
Matt Sanders is an Australian professor of psychology who specialises in child behaviour. He's developed a positive parenting program, or Triple P.
One of the key things you need to always ask yourself is this: what does my child get out of behaving in the way they do?
It's now the subject of an English television series called Driving Mum and Dad Mad.
Get away.
Oh, you have to just stop.
5 families are featured, desperate parents who are being terrorised by their kids.
Do you hear me? Right.
They're under stress because their kids are difficult to live with.
Don't piss me about, son, 'cause I'm really not in the mood.
They're finding on a day-to-day basis that they're shouting, they're yelling.
Oh, shut up.
Oh,
you
you're
know
gonna shout and bowl
nothing.
it in.
They're getting impatient with their kids.
Annie, can you just calm down, love, all right?
They're trying to juggle the various competing priorities and demands in their life.
No, I need to sit down. I need some time out.
From work to coping with organising childcare to the various things that families have to do. And I think we're reaching a point where there's almost a crisis of confidence.
And so a youngster who's learned...
Over an 8-week course, Sanders subjects the families to intense scrutiny.
Okay, just have a sort of a think back to what happened and what did you pick up there?
As the cameras roll, problems are identified.
Shut up! There's no television, Angus.
What's revealed is where you are shocked at the behaviour of the children and you've gone, this is simply too hard for me.
I know, but never say never.
You've been very, very naughty.
Not so long ago, Jo Frost was a London nanny plying her trade. Today, she is a major star.
Who is in charge here?
The unexpected success of her series, Super Nanny, a clear sign that the dilemma over child raising has touched a universal nerve.
I've walked into a family and I've been spat at. I've had my forearms ripped.
Oh, by the children?
Yes, and I've recognised why. So as much as I sit there and think, okay, I'm going to get a brick thrown in my face here, or that did not feel nice at all, I do understand where it's coming from. And I just look at that child and know this is because you've been allowed to do this and to do it for so long.
Whip around and get me the back of the license plate.
Jo Frost believes the trouble often starts with the expectations parents place on themselves. Often they've put off having a family until they've achieved success in the workplace.
Hi!
Having done that, the kids come next. Raising children, they expect, will be just one more hurdle to be efficiently dealt with, only to find, as David and Barbara Jeans did, that it's not that easy.
Having 3 kids in 18 months at age 40 was a little bit more than I had anticipated it being.
You know, she was an advertising executive and had a whole department under her, and she did fine with that. Why can't she handle the house, you know?
The easy option as, let me just have a short fix now. Let me deal with the situation right now rather than addressing the issue and what the problem is. If your child's screaming in a supermarket because they want something, it's easier just to let the child have whatever they're asking for, rather than to teach the child that behaviour is not going to warrant them what they want.
You sit in the naughty stool until I tell you that it's okay to get up. Do you understand me?
Her solution seems so simple, perhaps too simple. That's upset some experts who believe her quick fix gives parents false hope.
Parents need to be able to feel confidence that the advice and information that they're receiving is reliable, is well tested, that they've got a reasonable chance if they follow the advice that it's going to work. We don't want homespun theories. We don't want people just sort of parading parenting solutions as the be-all and end-all. We need this information to be solidly grounded.
There are critics of your methods, as you know. Indeed, you have been called the Devil Mary Poppins.
Have I? Oh, I suppose if they want to call me that, that's up to them.
But some child psychologists have said you have far too much influence, you have no formal qualifications, you've never read a book on parenting.
No, but I have 15 years of hands-on experience and I feel very confident about that, and I'm able to help these families, and that's what matters at the end of the day, being able to help these families.
Despite the argument, there is also agreement that in a child's life, structure is everything. Discipline, routine, physical activity. Set the ground rules and stick to them, because children sense and exploit weakness.
Parents need a game plan. They need to be able to think about, okay, when he does that, what am I going to do next? And if he does that, what will the backup to that be? So we teach them simple discipline routines that work.
And if you were searching for proof, how about this bloke? In 1997, we met Matt Jackson, a young boy with serious problems, whose parents had turned to Professor Sanders for help.
Found him one day in his room with a piece of string around his neck, tied into a knot, standing on his bed saying, "I'm going to jump."
If that program hadn't have come your way, where would you be now?
Probably jail by this time.
Really?
Well, I was really bad.
I am
Over 3 months, Sanders counselled Matt's mum and dad, who began implementing his discipline routine.
What's the circumstance that leads up to that?
They stopped the shouting matches, rewarded Matt's good behaviour, and punished him with time out when he was bad. It worked.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Now 17, Matt is a fine young man who was working 6 days a week to put himself through drama school.
I think my family would not be how it is now. My parents would have just have been able to handle it any longer. I think that was their last straw.
Hey, listen to me, babe. Listen, look at mummy when I'm talking to you.
Which brings us back to the Donnellys.
How is this behaviour impacting on husband and wife here?
It's put a big strain on us. We have, we get really stressed. We get very tired, and with that we go apart. Like, we don't spend as much time with us. It can be pretty intense sometimes.
We're coping, but you just don't want to live in a constantly stressful environment because the kids aren't happy, we're not happy, and you go crazy.
Professor, what is the key piece of advice you can offer parents right now?
Enjoy your children, because they're not kids for very long. You need to calm down, refocus on the important things, and the important things are making sure that your child is growing up in a world where they're receiving plenty of loving attention, where much of their waking day is doing things that children enjoy doing, which is playing and having fun, and that when it comes to having good daily routines, get some routine in their life. Children benefit a great deal from that.
Conflict can blind us to the joys of raising children, but get it right and the rewards will come.
You get lots of crowds where you go?
On a neighbourhood stroll with Joe Frost, the thought came to me that perhaps just this once, the kids should get the last word.
What's the best thing that you've learned from the Super Nanny?
That the parents are the boss and we need to listen to them.